live! Welcome to Encounter Roleplay. Welcome to the first game of the new year. And welcome to Back on the Block. I am super excited to be here. Producer Travis will be jumping in very soon. He's just getting his coffee and getting ready to go. This is our brand new mini campaign. We will be running every Friday in the 5 p.m. Eastern slot here on Encounter Roleplay until the end of January. Yeah. Now, Virginia, very quickly, because I forgot to ask you this before, what should our lore meter be at?
Your lore meter should be set, for now, 3 higher than it is. 1, 2, 4 higher than it is, sorry. I can count.
Really cranked up that lore meter. Alright, let me see if I can do this. While I'm doing this, why don't we go around and say hi to everyone? Is that high enough or another one? 1, 2, 3. We're good. Alright, cool. Let's go around and say hi to everyone, and then we'll hand over to Past Charlie to tell us all about our sponsors. So, Virginia, welcome back to Encounter Roleplay. Happy New Year.
Yes, Happy New Year. I'm so glad to be back. It feels like coming home, I'm not going to lie. I'm back with this amazing cast, and Susie on as a guest again, and running Dredd, and I'm just excited. I'm so excited to get to revisit this, because so rarely do you get to go back to like campaigns that you've done and see how the story moves on. So I'm so excited, and I'm happy to be here.
I am very excited too, and super excited because we have the Zippy Zippo with us. Hey Zippy, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm doing pretty good, pretty good. I'm a little bit confused where our top bar is, so I'm just correcting that. How was your new year? And you looking forward to being Greece?
Yeah, I'm absolutely excited to be Greece. My new year was good. Christmas is even better. Getting ready to go back to university, and I'm super excited to be with these people.
Awesome. And someone I'm always excited to play with, Cleric Accord. How are you doing?
I am doing really great. Glad to be back with everybody. I've missed you all over the holidays. I've missed this group. I've missed the judges. I've missed Talon. I'm glad to be here.
And
Life
someone
is back
else
to
I'm
normal.
very glad is here is Susanna Grace. Hi, friend.
Oh, hi, I'm back. Hey, Judge Judy is back. You can't keep her away for long. And she's brought with her today her good friend, Judge Tetley. But I'm very, very excited to be back. I had a great Christmas. I had a great New Year. And I am looking forward to some great TTRPG action in 2020.
Double crits! I don't know what the fingers were for. I can't do 20s with 2 hands. But that's how my day's going. So, why don't I hand over... Oh! A wild Travis appears. Travis! Hello? Are you there? Can't hear you, but we can see you. So this is a good start. No, we can still not hear your friend. Alright, let's go and hand over to Past Charlie while we get this all sorted out. See you in a second. Before we begin today's show, I would like to take some time to remind you about our sponsors. Fantasy Grounds, our virtual tabletop of choice. All of the beautiful maps and roles you see tonight are done using Fantasy Grounds, which you can try for free at fantasygrounds.com. You can also get all of your miniatures from Wayland Games. Go to waylandgames.co.uk and get yourself a huge range of D&D, Warhammer and 40k minis for up to 20% off regular retail price. And Tabletop Loot, who sell incredible dice. Go and check them out at tabletoploot.com. It appears that a dark lady has stolen the voice of one producer Trav over there in the web DM land, as I like to think of it.
Now don't go pinning this on me. This wasn't me. Some other dark lady.
Some other dark lady. Many, many dark mistresses of Encounter Roleplay. So why don't we, while Trav is playing with it, you might need to do a refresh, Travis, as well. That might work if you change your input. Why don't we do a little introduction, Virginia?
Yes, so I guess I'll start here. If you didn't see the last season of Judge Dredd on the block, it followed the story of some judges who had been hand-selected for their skills, or perhaps lack thereof in some people's opinion, to take on a new initiative, the On the Block initiative, where they were sent to the worst mega block in Mega City 1, Freedom Falls. It was completely lawless, run by gangs known as the Vipers, the Anti-Militia, and the Wing Clipper clan. It had problem upon problems. The food supplies were controlled by the gangs. The medical center didn't have enough in order to provide the more innocent citizens with the care that they needed. And there was something dark going on in the background. Judges had gone missing and been killed in Freedom Falls. And this was part of the Justice Department's initiative to try and rejuvenate the mega block by sending our judges there to take over the old city defense and try and bring some law and order. They eventually got to the root cause, which was the anti-militia, who were out for the blood of the judges and had apparently captured but not killed two that were previously there. Judge Caro was unfortunately killed, having already been shot once by Judge Grease while he was undercover to prove don't give me that look, Zippy. To prove his undercover's Elias's loyalty. We had Judge Talon, who went through and basically set up a soup kitchen to remove power from the gangs and started supplying the handful of food vendors and traders that were still existing within the wrecked out shells, the shops in the atrium down below. We had Judge Reinhold, who come in as a side judge, who experienced a lot of issues with some strange psychics going on with an ex-judge named Shay, who was believed to be dead, and who lured him away from the group for some time before antagonizing him, but seemingly help him reach the man who was in charge of the anti-militia. We had a few wonderful other people on. We had Judge Gilroy, who came on as a medic and helped out for a while before being called away. Judge Fremont was then posted to the team, another side judge, to help track down the team's missing side judge. And we had Judge Judy come in, sent in as backup, and really did come in and kick some ass in the arcade to the level known for its debauchery and illegal dealings, before being called off elsewhere. And we had Judge Waits, the straight-laced judge of the group, who struggled deeply with her mutation and what that meant for her, and also brought a lot of strength to the group, despite writing half of the other fellow judges' tickets for small, minor infractions. And we left off with the block, having brought law to it and taken down the anti-militia, but unfortunately the mysterious ex-judge Shay was never found, despite the best efforts of our judges. And what role she played in the chaos that had ensued was still unclear. And here, minor infractions like murder. Okay, Charlie. And so we actually jump forward a year after the events of law returning to Freedom Falls. And I want to get round and see what our judges have been up to in this time, whether or not they ever went back, or whether or not they went on to other assignments. But I think we should start with Judge Waits. What has Judge Waits been doing since you were all called back after your success and reporting in at the end of the initiative, and you were posted elsewhere? The initiative had worked. There was no need to keep permanent judges on the blocks, but Freedom Falls returned as part of the normal kind of patrol route for judges, whereas before everyone avoided it like the plague. But what has Waits been doing? How did she cope in the aftermath of this? Because she was in a pretty beat up way towards the end of that.
Waits had to go through a little bit of rehabilitation, physical and emotional, especially after she ripped up the true ticket that Grease had ramped up, turned it into a slightly shorter visit to the ISO cubes. And I like to think that she took up the invitation of Judge Judy to meet Judge Kane, and that she got to spend a couple of patrols with the legend, the man himself, one of the best judges the Hall of Justice has ever seen. And that they were actually posted on assignment, the three of them, to another block, much like Freedom Falls, in need of some law. Judy continued to educate Waits in the ways of perps, and shooting first and asking questions later. Waits also spent time with the little girl that she had met at Freedom Falls, helping to make sure that she was both protected and probably kind of educated, I suppose, or supported with the powers that were becoming more and more revealed, hooking up with Reinhold, with Fremont, with other side judges who might understand better the mutation that the girl has. I think she worked hard as well with, was it Jana, our medic, up on floor 26? To establish a proper blood bank with some minor benefits for Waits, so that she never went hungry again, so to speak, in exchange for some research materials, including her own blood and that of other mutants that she's kind of come to know in the underground network of mutants. I like to think there's an underground network of mutants.
We can have an underground network of mutants. Canon.
Boom. And then on her very few days off, she takes the good Judge Tetley to the dog park for walkies. It's a strict regimen of fetch, of frisbee tosses, of jumping, of running, and of neat and polite heel, an introduction to other dogs on the beat at the dog park.
I've now got this bit in my head that all of you take turns, like with days, having Judge Tetley. This is now canon.
There's
so that's
a
what
roster.
There's a roster. That's what Waits has been up to then in the year since Freedom Falls. The young girl that you met is flourishing. Her talents are growing ever stronger as the months went on, and you're actually very glad that you stepped in to help, because it was reaching a point that she was struggling, because she's still too young to understand what all of these talents mean, and with the visions and the knowledge she gets getting stronger from the objects that she grasps, having judges like Reinhold and yourself and other people down there has proved to help the girl. And in fact, there are many at the Hall of Justice with their eye on her for potential as a cadet when she is old enough, as her abilities look like they could prove incredibly useful to the judges. But Judge Waits, it's when you come back, bringing Tetley back to the Hall of Justice to hand him over to one of your other fellow judges for the next day, that after you do this, who do you hand Judge Tetley off to? Whose turn is it next, Tetley?
I like to think it is Judge Reinhold's turn, because I really want to see if Travis's mic is working now.
Okay. And you
Hello, Judge Shay.
Yay! You hand Judge over to Judge Reinhold, and it's at this point that you get control through in your helmet, asking you to report to a senior judge's office. Strange, you haven't been pulled up for anything recently. You know that there have been some questions about some of your actions with Judy based on previous reports, but never been called up before, and you start to make your way there.
She nervously pulls out that pad that she'd been using to keep account of the wrongdoings at Freedom Falls, and can see all of those little torn stubs where the tickets for Greece had been, and a small nervous shiver kind of runs up her spine. But she walks to her vehicle, hops on, gives a nod to Reinhold, a nod to Tetley, and jets away.
And you speed off. And Judge Reinhold, you have been given Judge Tetley. It is your day of the week to care for the doggo. But what has Judge Reinhold been doing in the year since Freedom Falls? Has he gone back? Has he been posted elsewhere? What has his
absolutely
life been
not.
like?
after some weeks in the hospital, after taking 3 slugs to the chest, Judge Reinhold, of course, turned in his badge and his gun, quit the force, then had himself committed, and now sits in a group home for the somewhat insane in a bathrobe with watching game shows with a half-eaten pudding cup on a tray in front of him. He gets all the questions right and frequently talks to Judge Tetley, who is often not in the room. And so I would like to think that Judge Tetley knows how to get to this facility and just sort of lets himself in. And it's like he was never gone. It's like, Tetley, did you know that the Grand Canyon was the answer? That was to that last one? It's true. Would you get me another red Jell-O, please? And would you check the thermostat? It's a little cold in here. And I like to think that objects are sort of gently floating around the room from time to time. And he's not in a good place. He's checked out. Judge Shay really did a number on him. And he's sitting in a quiet room. There's like a half-done puzzle on a table nearby. And yeah, he's in bad shape.
Okay, and so what leads to your meeting with Judge Waits, where she actually hands Tetley over to you in person outside of this facility? Is it just outside the front where he's come out to meet her, or has he since checked out of this facility?
I think I'm allowed yard time to walk around in the front yard in my bathrobe, sit on a bench, then get up and go to another bench and sit on that. And I'm, see Judge Waits through the gate there.
And, Tetley is handed over to you. Judge Waits comes in to visit. I imagine there's some small talk before she speeds off back to HQ. And you are now in charge of Tetley, as you always are, on this day of the week. And he is here with you. He snuggles up by your feet. And then he eventually jumps up onto your lap when you're back inside and watches you intently as you talk to him. And as you know, you ask him things. You ask him about the crossword. He looks down at the page. You talk about the thermostat, and he runs over to the room and scratches at the wall until someone comes to adjust it. But he joins you in companionship there. Have you been in contact with your other fellow judges, or is it just Judge Waits that you've been?
I think Judge Fremont has been by to visit from time to time to check on me, and potentially others, but Reinhold is in such a fog and has been watching so many reruns of Murder, She Wrote that he just, people may have been there, people may not have been there. He probably thinks that Grease has shown up from time to time when that may or may not be the case, and he's just sort of checked out. He's lost his mind quite a bit.
And this is Reinhold for the last year, a great side judge. And I imagine, you have been helping Waits on your good days with the young girl back at Freedom Falls. She's been brought to you to help explain the powers that she has, but for the most part, your life is this facility. Maybe the shops and a few areas in the blocks around where you're allowed to go, but pretty much here. And Judge Tetley is your most constant companion. Someone who I imagine has definitely come to visit you, however, and perhaps to bring you some soup of the right kind, not the kind that you can't touch on the back burner, would be Judge Talon. What has Talon been doing for the last year? What has she been experiencing? Has she gone back to Freedom Falls?
Cleric, before you answer this question, I would like to thank Lady Purple for her wonderful donation, £10, and it's a Bane, Virginia. So you need to make things harder, more challenging, more terrible for us. And we have also hit our retweet target, so we will be doing a Wild Magic Surge. If you can let me know who it is, I will roll it up and sort that out.
Okay. I know what I can use that Bane for, but
thank you. You can roll a d4, Virginia, to decide which one of us. D4. Roll a d6. Sorry.
A D6.
I
Okay.
can't count. There's more of us than I thought. I didn't see a little Judge Judy tucked down
You
there.
want me to go clockwise or anti-clockwise?
Whichever way your devious brain wants to work.
I'm going to go anti-clockwise because it's a 1. Love you, Charlie.
Oh, I see how this goes. All right, I will take care of that, and I will let you all know what I get in a second. Cleric, what has Judge Talon been up to?
Judge Talon has been spending a lot of time in the block, making sure that the programs that she kicked off are still in force. That the supply lines are getting through. She's also been looking for Serena. She, never really saw her come back. Tried to track her down, hasn't had much luck, but has been looking for her. Has been keeping an eye on things. Handling little disturbances that may have come up. The people on the block know, at Freedom Falls know that if there's an issue, to call Talon. She'll show up. She'll do what she can. She does go visit Judge Reinhold. She's always bringing him soup, helping him out with Tetley. And she's also been kind of adapting to having a new face after having the burn scars fixed. Oh, and she and Horatio go to the movies often. They spend a lot of time watching movies, old movies, musicals especially.
I imagine you get a lot of recommendations from Judge Grease about which films to go and watch and what newest titles are the best one out there. And you manage to get yourself assigned to the regular patrols that now happen in Freedom Falls, like many of the other mega blocks that have regular patrols. And you are there, and the people recognize you. There's actually one of the eateries manages eventually to open up, setting back, shop up in one of the burnt out shops. And the small place, semi-eatery, almost bar-like, becomes a little hub of social activity for some of the block's residents, even some of the now ex-gang members. And it's named Talons by the owner in Thankful for You. It's the one that you first helped out downstairs and convinced to rally the others together. The gangs are not entirely gone. The anti-militia no longer exist. Every now and then there are rumors that they're coming back and they're making a comeback, but you never see any fruition from that. You think that is just the bogeyman story that people tell. The Wingcliffer clan, there are still a large number of them that stayed in the block. They no longer cause as much trouble, but the arcade is still a little underhand, probably way more than it should be still. But the arcade does exist. Some of the practices that happen up there still exist, albeit less harmful to the people in the mega block. The Red Vipers exist as a much, much smaller clan. They identify it more as, the people that were liberated from ISO 59. And people take a long time to adjust to that. Even a year later, there are still people living in that section that refuse to leave, having grown up their entire lives behind the bars of that level. But the crime is no better or no worse than any other mega block in the city so far.
I think the women that she worked with when they were opening up ISO 59, that they had organized to get people evacuated out of there, formed the core of a self-policing group for the block, kind of unofficial. They knew their stuff. They knew how to keep control, how to keep order within their own ranks. And I think they became under Talon's guidance, became a core of a self-policing, which is why the arcade stays, but it doesn't have nearly the problems that it used to.
Yeah, I imagine that is perhaps what the majority of the Vipers turn into, is this small self-policing force that continue on. And sometimes they do cause trouble, and sometimes old habits come back to bite, but there's never anything quite as bad as what you all found when you started. And as you go out one night with Horatio, meeting him at Grease's place to go to a movie, we're going to peer into the life of Judge Grease and what Grease has been doing for the last year since the end of your initiative at Freedom Falls.
Not much. After he saved Freedom Falls and helped them establish their own system of government that is far from the totalitarian regime that is the court that all the judges are a part of. He took some much needed time off and started making mech suits for underprivileged chimps, and have been donating them to gangs like the Harry Paw Boys and the Peelers and other known young youth groups that have no need for such nefarious machinations.
So that's what you've been doing. So you've been basically on vacation for the year.
Yeah.
Much needed time off.
It's on a holiday.
I imagine that nobody really protested the time off after you spent maybe a week or two in ISO after the events of the initiative, thanks to Judge Waits's much reduced ticket of offences, which are not minor, didn't end up really counting against you all too badly. And when you expressed the wish to take some vacation, nobody argued and thought, ever since your undercover went on for so long in Freedom Falls, that perhaps this would be best to take some time away.
But, prison changes them in. Or chimp. He now he just wants to cause a bit of fun.
And, you've been given extended leave to return when you feel ready. And that is where we leave you, building mech suits in your workshop. We're going to go and visit Judy. Judy, who was only in Freedom Falls for a short period of time as backup, kicking ass in the arcade. But you spent a lot of time with Judge Waits outside of this. What's Judy been up to for a year?
So in between fun, exciting patrols with Waits and her husband, Kane, who are the two most straight-laced, most boring judges in the Hall of Justice, Judy struck out on her own, and she leveraged her infamy to So imagine Dog the Bounty Hunter, but with following a judge instead. She has a little small camera crew that follow her around the streets as she rides her lawbringer with no helmet on, hair blowing in the breeze for that good action intro shot. She kicks down perps' doors. The action follows her with a shaky cam. She's basically like the cops of Mega City 1, as it's the Judge Judy show. And it is, of course, called Judge Judy.
Where you are truly sentencing people live on television. And maybe even Waits ends up in one or two of those episodes as well.
Yeah. And Tetley has definitely been in a bunch of episodes, and he's a fan favorite.
I imagine there was a whole episode dedicated to modifying your lawmaster in order to fit a little dog basket for Tetley.
Yes.
And thank you very much to Hippie Killer, who wishes us all a happy new year and to keep the Jays alive a little longer with crits for all. So thank you very much. You can interrupt with today's show by donations down below, retweets up above, and just being in chat and hanging out with us, because that's a cool thing you can do. Oh, and clips. That's the thing too.
But that is where we leave our judges. We will find out what's been happening with Judge Fremont, hopefully next week. But we're going to jump back to Waits, as you're called in to this office. And in here with you, to your surprise, is Judy. She is also in this office, without her film crew that normally accompany her, and without Kane. Judy, I imagine you're no stranger to the inside of some of the higher-ups' offices for one reason or another. But this feels different. You weren't told why you were supposed to be here.
Mm-hmm. And I feel like this time Judy is acting much more differently. Usually she's like sprawled out on a chair, feet up on a desk. If she's been called to an office, she don't give a shit. But this time something feels different. So she's kind of stood there almost to attention, which would be weird for Waits, because I don't think Waits has ever seen Judy act quite that proper before.
As you come through the doorway, there is a coldness to this room, not in its temperature, but in its tone. Judy being stood to attention instead of sprawled out across one of the chairs or resting against the desk. The cleanliness and the clean-cutness of this office, one of which you've never stood in. You noted that you were told to attend to them. You were given the name of the judge in question, and it's not on the door of the office either, as you would expect. The judge sitting in the chair is an older woman, maybe in her 40s. She wears a full judge uniform despite the fact she is behind a desk. Not the most comfortable of things, but it definitely gives her a look as somebody who's hardened, somebody who has worked this job for a while. And you can see the lines and the scars in her face show somebody that has clearly worked, more than just behind a desk for many years. And she sits there. And Judy, the whole 10 minutes you've been in this office, she has said nothing to you, other than to announce that you may enter. Nothing, not a word, hasn't even looked at you. And she does the same to you, Waits, when you enter. You knock, you were told to enter, and she says nothing as you take your place next to Judy. The woman picks up a small black file with the word confidential imprinted across the front of it. In this almost like black embossed silvery kind of lettering, and very gently but almost threateningly places it down in front of you both and spins it so it's facing you, and leans forward on the desk.
Judge Waits will reach out and kind of flip open the file, assuming that she's meant to be briefing herself on its contents.
And you do so, and the woman stays leaning forward, doesn't look up at you, just she's watching the file. She's watching you as you flip each page. And Judy, as you see Waits flip the file, the first page of it is general information. It's an ID for the file. It lets it know that it's confidential. Some various other paperwork bits to show who's taken it in and out. And then you flip the next page. And it takes you a moment because you weren't assigned to the initiative for long. You were just assigned as backup, as a temporary placement. But you see the On the Block initiative. Wait, you begin to flick through, and it is every account that both you and your fellow judges had to make, every statement, every update, every report that you made throughout your time there, and when you had to come back, including the report at the back, which you can see is heavily redacted. You recognize these events. These are the events that Judge Reinhold recalled in his encounter with Shay, but the names are redacted. If you didn't know that this had happened firsthand, you wouldn't know at all. And Judy, you might have heard bits of this story, but it was kept very quiet. Judges were instructed not to speak specifically about this part of what happened on the initiative. So it's kind of difficult for you to pick up what this document is making out with the redactedness. There was a judge, there was some kind of psychic-induced mania, or perhaps truth. It's hard to tell from what's written here. And you can see that this report ends with the judge in question handing in his badge. Wait, you flick through this, and as you go further past these redacted sections, there is another part. Reports, accounts, strange ones, people going missing, but then never being reported, save for maybe one or two people mentioning this. None of it through official channels either. This all looks like it has been uncovered through more deceptive means. You see there are reports here from someone named Jana, who you recognize as the medic that you may have run across. Waits, you recognize that there is a report here of a woman named Selena, who apparently returned to the block at some point and was then mysteriously missing after returning from ISO, except no one seemed to recall her. It's very strange, these reports. You've never seen them before. And you reach the end, and it's very unclear as to what exactly this all means as you reach the end of these documents, just flicking through over the next 10 minutes. And when you're done and the file is closed, the judge in front of you leans back in her seat and finally looks up to the both of you, expectantly.
That was a year ago. Why now?
The initiative was a year ago, yes. You're right, Judy. But those reports at the end, they were from within the last 3 months.
Freedom Falls is in trouble.
Freedom Falls, yes. It seems people have been going missing, except no one's been really reporting them, not openly. And it's not that we can find that they're deceptive in covering this up. It's not like it's gang violence returning. It's something else. But we have had other reports, people looking into things. And what happened to Judge Reinhold? Although when he first reported it, many of us assumed that this was some kind of stress-induced, psychic power-induced mania, hallucinations, the simple act of a judge under too much stress on that initiative. But we have had 3 judges who were set to patrol the route that crosses through Freedom Falls go missing, all in the last 3 months around the same time.
I made clear in my accounting and reports that 3 judges is not enough for Freedom Falls.
These were 3 judges at different times. They were not together. After the events that were reported, as a precaution, we made sure that all patrols assigned to cross Freedom Falls included a side judge, just in case the account that Reinhold left was true. So far, 3 out of the many that have been assigned have gone missing while going through in groups of 3 or 4 judges at a time, sometimes more in some of the more difficult stages of that block's reformation.
Reinhold would never report inaccuracies.
I don't believe that he would. What I do believe is that if somebody doesn't know they are inaccuracies, they are able to report them as truth. It's not that I personally discredited him, but the experience he described was interesting. We couldn't verify it other than what he told all of you. But the reports that there was a psychic individual drawing power from other psychic individuals, it's now beginning to worry us. We are now actually seeing signs of perhaps something breeding in Freedom Falls that perhaps shouldn't be.
Breeding is an interesting choice of words there, Judge.
Well, nothing for nearly the best part of 9 months. Relative peace, small disturbances, minor. We've been keeping an eye. But then this. First, people disappearing with no trace of them. Maybe 1 or 2 remembering that these people aren't where they should be. And then slowly judges going missing, side judges at that. That concerns me. Side judges are some of the most, well, perceptive that we have. If anyone was going to go missing or be attacked, I figured they would be the first to know it was coming.
So what, you want us to go in there, dispense justice to a psychic baby?
I don't think this is a psychic baby. I think perhaps the Judge Shay that was mentioned, she's still listed as killed in action on our records, but if what Reinhold saw was true,
she's smart. And knowing Judge Reinhold, she probably needed to heal from backlash for what she did to him.
We have
Takes
not
time to
publicly...
accrue power.
That it does.
Takes
We have
time
not
to be ready for war.
acknowledged what happened to Judge Reinhold. We didn't want to scare anybody. We haven't publicly had an undercover presence in that sense at Freedom Falls, but we have had people looking into it. And this is all we've turned up so far. These are the only strange things happening. No mysterious new people. None of the usual signs you would expect if a gang or a group were up to nefarious activities. I'm sure you understand what I'm talking about, Judy. You know how easily it is to spot the seeds of crime beginning in places like this. New characters, strange industries starting.
Judge, what are our orders? I'm assuming there are orders.
We would like you to put the initiative group back together. You'll need to go. Judge Talon is still on our books as an active judge. Judge Grease has been on his own indefinite vacation. We didn't argue with it when he wished to take it, but it's time to call him back in. He still has the persona of, she turns the sheet round, flicks through. Marlon
Brando.
Interesting name choice.
Waits, not impressed or happy.
I have to say, Judge Waits, I'm impressed that you wrote up a fellow judge for the offences that he did, though I'm sure there are more that you decided not to enter into the system. And she gives you this strange, knowing look.
I made my reports.
Yeah, you did. And then there is Judge Reinhold. Judge Reinhold is currently at a facility for his own care, but he's the only person that has had experience with Judge Shay quite as much. I know you had your moments with her, Judge Waits, but Reinhold had an extended meet with her, shall we say. And I want him back.
I'm very aware of Reinhold's extended absence from the initiative. I was there.
The only problem is he handed in his badge. He's no longer on our books as a judge officially, but I'm willing to grant him a temporary return to duty with all of its associated benefits and perks, and he can choose at the end of it if he wishes to hand that back in when he's done. I've already sent 3 people to try and speak to him about this. He wouldn't speak to any of them, except for some fairly choice words from what the reports say.
Judge Reinhold knows the law is always the law.
I would like you to go and convince Grease, Reinhold, and Talon to join back with the initiative. I would like you to go to Freedom Falls. I am worried about what is happening there, and Judy, I would like you to accompany them to make sure that they are not met with any nasty surprises. You have a reputation that I think will serve you very well here.
Judy tries so hard to suppress a little proud smile at that. She's like, yeah, I do. Of course. I'll do my bit.
It should also be known that you cannot speak to anybody else about this, not even your fellow judges. The only person you report to is me. If you are requested to report to anybody else, you report to me. Do I make myself clear, judges?
Crystal.
And she almost looks impatiently at you at the door. She doesn't want to touch. She's not saying get out, but her eyes are asking you why you're still standing here.
Judy, being a bit of a dick, holds on just a second longer than she should before she leaves.
And as you hold on just that second longer before turning to leave, you see the older female judge, whose name you have not been given. She almost stands up out of her chair in a, "Are you going to leave my office?" And you both walk out with the door closing behind you. You have your orders, but who do you go to collect first?
Talon. Talon is, to Waits' mind, no doubt the easiest to find. And she's in less of a rush to find Grease. She considers asking Judy if she would like to split up, but keeps the thought to herself for the time being.
I mean, you know these people. I briefly met Talon. Soup was good.
It's
your lead,
summertime.
Waits.
Maybe there'll be barbecue.
Ooh! All right, let's go. Judy's got like the energy of a puppy. She's like, food, yes, let's go.
Talon, it is your day off today. You are at home, I imagine, probably cooking something.
She's probably actually at the block in that leather jacket that she wears that looks like a beatable Judge's, but it's got all its patches and stuff missing. Smoking a cigarette, sitting at the eatery, just hanging out. This is I mean, I'm imagining Horatio is probably with her. They're going to go catch a movie. But this is where she likes to spend her days off. If she's not watching she's not out with Horatio.
I imagine you have like a spot in the Talon's eatery that they have named in your honor.
Yep.
And both Judy, especially Waits, and maybe Judy as well, you would know that Talon spends a lot of her time here. And so you make your way there first. You walk up.
I fully believe that Judy gets there first because Judy gives less of a shit about the speed limit.
Oh yeah.
You arrive first, Judy, and you are greeted with the eerily familiar, even though you were only here for a short time, the blast door to Freedom Falls, which still sits on a slant, having never been fixed, but the outside looking slightly better than usual. The same regular vagrants and beggars outside who, upon seeing your arrival, quickly hide their signs, making it look like they are doing nothing but sitting outside, talking to people. You make your way in, and the place is vastly improved. I don't know if you've been back to Freedom Falls since you were last here. No?
Nah.
It looks better. The burnt-out shops down on the atrium level, a good 3/4 of them have recovered. They still look a little worse for wear, but there are people in them now. You can see the upper levels. There is better lighting in here. It looks like that's been fixed. You can still just pick up the slight bass in the background, probably coming from the arcade. But the standard of living looks better. People no longer run as you enter. A few actually nod in your direction in respect. And you spot an eatery that's got this deep kind of blue neon lighting it's flickering. It looks like it's been patched together out of bits of neon tubing that just says Talons. And you can see it's almost like a small eatery and bar. And at the back, just sat beside a huge hulking gorilla, is the woman you recognize to be Talon. And Waits, you arrive shortly after. You've been back here. You are used to the new Freedom Falls. And you join Judy as you make your way into this eatery.
I just had a weird mental moment where I was like, didn't I have a fight with Horatio? And then I was like, wait, that was when I was GMing. No, it wasn't me. But we did hit a wild magic surge. So if you can roll again, Virginia, we'll find out who gets this one.
Ooh. 6.
6. So that's you.
Oh.
We go clockwise around. You could choose someone, or you can give it to one of your NPCs.
I'm gonna pick Judy.
Okay, so Judy, I'm gonna go look yours up. Virginia, just in case you haven't seen it in chat, any blood spilt combusts on contact with water is the one that Waits got.
Okay.
Wonderful.
I'm gonna re-roll the one that we just got because it makes just no sense and there's just no way it's gonna work. Bear with me a second. Re-rolling. 1665. Let's go. In case anyone is wondering, we're having a little problem with Fantasy Grounds at the moment in that the router that is hosting it is kind of on and off. Okay, so Judy thinks that she can handle red hot metal without harm.
It's like the
This is
wild
gonna
magic
end
bug.
well.
Yeah.
This is what we need.
Okay, so I imagine Judy walks in. She's got her helmet under her arm. You know, she takes her gloves off as she comes in, chucks them on a table. She walks up to the back and she's like, "Ooh, what's cooking?" And then I imagine there's like a skillet on there that's like just a cast iron skillet, and she just grabs it.
It's one of those, like where you get like chicken and meat and stuff in like a sizzling platter. It's one of those that's just been put across the bar top as you've come in. You don't know this, but judges eat free here, and they've had this cooking and they put it on the bar top towards you without warning you, thinking that you'll hear the sizzling of the cast iron skillet as you pick it up without your gloves on.
So I think I can handle hot things. I actually can't. So Judy grabs it and goes, "Fuck!"
I imagine there's a moment of like, this will be fine. I can't hold on.
She's like blowing on her hand, like, "Ow!"
The plate,
You hear from the back,
plate goes crackling to the floor. The food goes everywhere. The owner is very apologetic. You don't suffer any damage character sheet wise, but you do have a pretty nasty surface burn across your hand that's quite sore. It hasn't like blistered and blown up entirely, but it's painful, and you don't know how you're going to put your glove back on.
It's like, ice, please.
And he rushes off to go and get you some ice. He comes back with it wrapped in a tea towel. That's the best he can do. And Talon, you hear this clattering to the floor, and as you peer past Horatio, you see Waits and Judy.
She's kind of sighs, and I imagine she's heard the whole sizzling and the burn and the everything, and she's kind of clicks over on her earpiece. She goes, "Jenna, we're gonna need you down at Talon's Eatery. Yeah, we got a judge that burned themselves. Thanks." And then she tells, I'll be right back. She's got a cigarette hanging out of the corner of her mouth. She's got her hands in her pockets of this jacket. And she's like, "So, guys come for lunch?"
The Freedom Falls Initiative has been reinitialized.
Who gets to tell Reinhold?
Waits can feel, I think, in the back of her head, Judy's hand forming up to do rock, paper, scissors.
We gotta do it. We gotta. She goes like that and goes,
You, without even thinking, like, you've done that bit where you have to put the ice down for a second because it almost hurts as much. Go to do it and shout in pain again. And Talon, you get a message through over your headset saying, "Any judges I know? Anything else I should bring, or just a burns kit?"
Just a burn kit, but have a snack for Waits on standby.
Will do. And the voice of Jana cuts out over the earpiece as you
I can
start to make your way.
see Reinhold. I was there just this morning dropping off Judge Tetley. I had greater concerns about who was going to tell Grease.
She looks back over her shoulder at Horatio. She's like, "I got Grace."
Then we shall meet back here in 1 hour.
A few moments later, Jana arrives, slightly out of breath, having come down, the shock of almost silvery white blonde hair and the dark skin against much better looking overalls. It definitely looks like her supplies have improved. And you see she's carrying this small kind of like, almost like soft paramedics bag, gets it out, looks up at you. You briefly met before, and says, she looks at you, studying your face. "Judy, am I right? Judge?"
"That's the one."
We've all been guilty of picking up one of those without thinking," and kind of laughs it off and gets out a burns kit. Starts treating your hand. It instantly feels a bit better, but you still don't think you can put your glove on. Riding your Lawmaster is going to be difficult.
She's done it one-handed before. She'll do it again.
And Jana then heads over to you, Waits, after seeing to Judy. And inside this kit, she's got a small, it almost looks like a lunch bag, and you can feel that it's cold. It's obviously been kept cold. And she hands it over to you and kind of passes it over. You know by the weight of it and the feel and your own senses that this contains a couple of blood bags.
Thank you, Jenna.
Welcome. I've got some people upstairs to see to, so unless my services are needed. And she waits to see if anyone requests anything of her before wishing you goodbye and heading out.
Maybe in another hour.
She kind of turns around and nods her head with a kind of smile and lightly jogs off back up to the medical center. So, who is going with who? We have Waits going to Reinhold and Talon going to Greece. Judy, where are you going?
I think Judy stays here. There's food. She's injured. She's got to rest up, you know? It's a big boo-boo.
I imagine that as Talon and Waits go to leave, you just take a seat at the bar without really saying much. The owner comes up with another platter, and you see he cooks it, and he thinks about putting the sizzling platter down, and instead takes some tongs and empties the contents of the platter onto a regular plate and places it in front of you.
Judy picks up her fork in a menacing manner and glares at him as she stabs whatever it is and just eats it without breaking eye contact with him for treating her like a child. She's furious.
He looks like that. You see him reach down behind the bar, and he comes back with a small shot glass, looks both ways, and just pours you out a small amount of, like, probably whiskey or something. It's not the best. And kind of puts it down and just pushes it towards you as if to say, please don't stab me.
Like, good man. And just downs it.
Okay, and this is where you stay as everyone else goes to break the news.
Judy, did I not mention Judge Tetley will be there?
I'll see him when you bring him. You better bring him.
Save him a
Bring him
doggy
here.
bag.
I will. And she's already put stuff in a napkin for Telly.
The owner already sees you, and a few minutes later produces a small doggy bag of what looks to be chicken breast.
The owner's also got a drink that's a double shot. That's called the Bang Bang, or the Judge Judy special.
Is what Judy feels like inside, but outside she's very stoic about it.
I might have to make you roll to see how drunk Judy is by the time everyone gets back.
I will roll.
Okay, so Talon, you're heading over to see Judge Grease, so both you and Waits have to split up in separate directions, with the promise to meet back here in an hour, with Judy staying behind to seemingly have some lunch. Grease, why don't you tell us what Talon is greeted by as she arrives outside your residence?
It looks like a box. It looks like an unsuspecting white cube. Doesn't seem to be a door. Everything just looks like a solid cube when you walk up to it.
You've seen one or two of these around in the city, Talon. They're a kind of new kind of techie home, supposed to be secure to keep criminals out and perps from breaking in. And judges have had some issues entering them themselves, thanks to the nature of their programming and how customizable that they are. And you maybe heard from Grease a while back that he got one of these, but this is the first time you've actually come to visit after this has all been set up and built.
The first thing she does is look for traps.
Go ahead and just make a logic test for me with if you've got mechanics or engineering or something like that.
Explosives?
I mean, you can use explosives, but that'll be very specialized in looking for explosive traps. If not, just a simple logic test if you don't have like mechanics or engineering.
No, I don't. So yeah, just straight up logic. That's an 11.
11. You have a look around. It doesn't look like there's anything trapped out here. At least not anything that you could trigger by walking up to the property anyway.
So yeah, she'll walk up and I imagine that she's known Grace for a while. They've worked together. They have a lot of things in common now, the movies. And so she just kind of knocks on the door.
There's a knock on the side.
There are these two giant railgun-like firearms that just basically come out of these square holes that just suddenly pop out of the nice flat wall, aimed down. There's a giant red optical eye staring down at Talon.
Identify. Identify.
Please?
I brought a knife. You brought a gun. We put one of theirs in the hospital. We'll kill one of theirs.
Judge Talon. Accepted.
Yeah.
Come in. Have a great day.
I imagine that Grease has moved in here very, very recently. From the apartment that he was living in. This is the first time you've really seen this in person. You've heard Horatio talking about it and how it's got some questionable and perhaps unlicensed upgrades, but you make your way through this, what looks like a white cube on the outside, into what I imagine is quite a very techy but also homely home. And Grease, I imagine you go to meet Talon.
Talon, my best friend.
Hey.
Well, it's been it's been so long. How's the explosives?
I got a couple of new recipes I'm working on.
All right.
I like this place. I like this place.
Oh, this is my favorite. Okay, so now we come over here, and it's like a lift. But instead of us moving, it's the rooms. And he clicks a little button, and all of a sudden everything just dematerializes. And he clicks a button and says garage, and everything just kind of rematerializes, and it looks like a gearheads kind of garage and stuff. There's this mech suit being hoisted on a hydraulic lift. There's tools everywhere. It looks like somebody was recently using it, even though it's been in dematerialized stasis wherever. Pseudoscience. Jargon.
Judge Talon looks like a kid at Disneyland for the first time.
I know, he's so cool, right? Now I can have 5 houses in one. Just don't go in my bedroom. Well,
no.
I know a guy. I
Home
can get
theater?
you one. Oh, you can have the entire cinema in your house, literally. Like a home theater. If you'd want. But I know a guy. I can get you it at the low price of 4.5 million credits.
I'm working on it.
Okay, cool. I mean, I was given a prototype. I mean, I helped design the prototype, but it's okay.
Yeah.
And look at my new youth outreach project, and he brings her over to these mechs. I know. It helps the children keep the peace, so judges aren't needed. Unfortunately, we had some kids kind of get rowdy and start using them for nefarious purposes, but kids will be kids. Exactly.
We let me know. We'll do some of the gel flame stuff. so that you got kind of a more of an area effect with the guns on front.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, this right here, and he like rips off the version 1 point and like writes 0. This is just the prototype. It's not the finished product.
This is going to end up looking like Iron Man's garage, isn't it? Because
I don't know who Iron Man is, but yes.
I will. I got to show you that movie. You will. This guy, simpatico. Absolutely. Hey, dude, we got to go back to the block. Yeah, I know.
Get the fuck out of my house.
Look, Oil, this is me.
Oh, okay. All right.
They need Brandon.
He snaps.
Please get the fuck out of my house.
As the AI in the room repeats.
I'll do the upgrades for free.
Is Waits going to be there?
Probably.
You get Waits to write me a formal apology and have them recite it outside my front door to Terry and I, then yes, I will happily go back into the block. No questions asked.
All right. Come with me first, because we got to be back there in an hour.
No.
But I'll make it happen. You have my word.
You bring Waits here. I ain't going anywhere. Do you know how dangerous it is for me? I supply the youth with military grade weapons. I got so many targets on me right now. So unless Waits comes over and apologizes and makes me look good with the judges, I ain't stepping one simian foot back in there. You want to play ball?
Full pardon.
Full pardon ain't gonna do stuff for the time I already served. ISO changes a chimp down to their very core. I used to be good.
It was a day.
Now
It was
I
a
feel
day.
bad. A lot of stuff can happen in a day. Tell you what, you get Waits over here, and I see an attempt. I'll go for it. But you can't let her know that it just has to be an attempt. It has to be full, they need to feel like it needs to be, 100%.
All right, I'll see what I can do.
Okay. Don't forget a goodie bag on your way out. I've been giving them to all my house cats. Granted, there hasn't been many,
Sweet.
but can I interest you in an obnoxious grenade?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Pull the pin on this the next time you're in a crowd and roll it. It makes an high-pitched, dynamic range spanning scream that starts at the lowest frequency and then goes to the highest frequency. Just watch the ears bleed. It's gonna be great.
This is the best. Right. Okay. For this, yeah, I'll get Waits here. Hang as soon as she gets back from getting Reinhold, we'll be over. Right. And we got to do movie night. You be Horatio, yeah. I'll show you that Iron Man movie.
As long as Horatio comes and gives me a heartfelt apology about telling me that Chimpy Scorsese is an overrated director.
Are you two still at it about that?
Look, you just don't come into a chimp's home and disrespect his most favorite director. It's just something you don't do. So what if the chimpish man was 3.5 hours? It's okay. It had Chimpy De Niro in it.
Yeah, but did you see what he did to Joe Pesci? Cappuccino. That's it. Joe Cappuccino. That was his name, the little guy.
Yeah, what about Joe Cappuccino?
Did you see
You know what?
Did you see what he did to him? I mean, come on.
I mean, there are better roles for him to be in.
I'm imagining this is the moment where we zoom out of Talon and Grease getting into this fantastic argument about roles in movies, with the thought in the back of Talon's mind of somehow having to get Waits to even attempt an apology. We head over to you, Judge Waits, as you pull up outside the facility that Reinhold is in, where you were here this morning. You enter through the gates and make your way to the front desk of this facility, where a young man sits typing away at a computer, looks up. Afternoon, Judge. How can I help? And he looks.
Judge Reinhold is being released, and she puts her badge down to illustrate her point.
He looks at the badge. I see. Have you got paperwork from the department? Because I have it on here, and he types away at his computer. We aren't forcibly holding. Judge.
I'm aware.
Reinhold.
This information is a courtesy.
I see. I mean, we are not forcibly holding him. He's here of his own accord, Judge.
You will need to pack his things when he leaves with me.
I mean, that can be arranged. That is Mr. Reinhold's decision, however. He's reading further. It does seem, however, that he has used up his visitor limits for today, as somebody came to visit Judge Waits. Is that yourself this morning? And
That is myself. However, I am not here in a visitation capacity. I'm here in an official capacity on behalf of the Hall of Justice.
I see. I mean, this is
The
Mr.
law
Reinhold's...
has no limits in what it might do.
I'm not trying to stop you, Judge, but this is what Mr. Reinhold has set out. I will have to go and speak to him if you don't mind waiting for a moment.
Judge Reinhold.
And you see he's starting to stutter. He's having that moment of like, I'm not paid enough to deal with this and I don't know what's happening. And he's like, if you could just wait for one moment, I can let him know that you're here.
Seek paperwork. One moment. She reaches into her pocket and she pulls out the familiar ticket pad, and she simply writes 3 words on it, puts it on the desk, picks up her badge, and goes down the back hall towards where she knows Judge Reinhold's room is.
Okay, and he also gets up kind of behind you, almost following to try and catch up as you reach the door to Reinhold's room, and you open it, and as you do, Judge Waits bursts into the room, followed by the young man, Leonard, who you've come to know, who often services the front desk of this facility, trailing just behind her, going, I'm so sorry, Mr. Reinhold. She had a badge and said there was paperwork, and I know you've used up what you set for your visitation limit for today with the dog coming and the judge here visiting this morning, but I didn't have a choice. I'm sorry. And then he just turns around and walks off, as if he just doesn't want to be in the situation anymore. Have we lost Travis?
I'm here.
No,
Can you hear me?
Yep.
It's back and forth. Judge Reinhold is watching Jeopardy. And 2 of his eyes look at you, and his third eye is fixed on Jeopardy. Afternoon, Waits. You're just in time for Jeopardy.
Judge Reinhold, there is a sheet of paper in reception. You should really read it.
I don't need to read it, Waits. I'm done. Who is Della Reese?
No, Reinhold, the question is, who is Shay?
I'd really prefer you not say that name around me. What is box wine?
What is it you were going to do if I offer you the opportunity to finish what we started?
You know, you don't seem to understand. I have outlived my usefulness as a judge. What is Wash and Go Pert Plus? I have no function on the force, and besides, her eyes are too many colors. She'll win. Do you understand me? She's bigger than us.
Open
Who
up
is
your
Charles
eye
Nelson Riley?
and read the paper in reception.
It's taco night. Waits. All right, I make the paper. Can I summon the paper from reception, or can I read it through the receptionist's eyes, or how can I look at the paper in reception?
How would you like to look at the paper in reception, Reinhold?
I would like to see it through that.
Leonard's.
Leonard's eyes.
Yeah.
Okay,
Leonard's eyes.
When was the last time that you did this? You tried to peer outside of the area you were in to look at something. Is this something that you still practice? Do you still keep this up? Or have you kind of shut down a lot of your psychic abilities, save for the ones that are convenient?
I have not reached. My psychic abilities have not gone beyond, a 20-foot radius in 11 months.
Okay, go ahead and roll me a psi test then. And if you have any skills that you think are relevant to how you're doing this, like perception or anything like that, go ahead and add that to the roll.
Anybody in a dice roller by chance?
Oh,
What do you need, Travis?
Is anybody
Tell me
in
how
the
many
dice
dice.
roller by chance? 8.
8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 12, 15, 18, 20, 24.
Okay. It's been a while since you've done this. In fact, you probably haven't done this since you were back at Freedom Falls. You cast your mind out, and it's difficult. It's, for a moment, you can almost not remember how to focus, how to extend your reach in the direction you want, and you shift into the room next door where the person inside is asleep on the bed, and you try to pull it back and you shift around again a little bit, and you're in the corridor and you can just hear the ambient sound, but you manage to eventually, like riding a bike, find the spot where it starts to feel right again, and you move through into the reception and you focus hard, and then you're looking through Leonard's eyes, and he's typing away at the computer, and you can see he's writing an account of Judge Waits arriving and basically making her way to Judge Reinhold's room unaccompanied, probably just to cover his own job. And then his eyes flick to the paper that is still on the counter, and he looks back to see if Waits is coming, and when he doesn't see anything, he slides it across and picks it up. Waits, do you want to tell us what's on that piece of paper?
The 3 words that she wrote down are, "I'm sorry, Reinhold." And as he's reaching out his mind, she'd like to incapacitate him to drag his ass out of this room.
How are you incapacitating him?
I would like to think that she has a taser of some description.
I mean, your lawgiver has stun bullets, basically.
Sure, yeah, I'll shoot him with a stun bullet.
Okay. This is going to be... Go ahead and make your attack. Reinhold is currently meditating, so I'm going to give you And you're really concentrating hard, Reinhold. So I'm going to give you 3 bonus dice to this, Charlie.
All right, so this is pistols plus something else, right?
This will be
Agility?
Agility, yeah.
And then you said 3 bonus?
And 3 bonus dice.
Ooh, that's a lot of 6s. 3 6s is 18, another 6 is 24, plus 5 is 29, plus another 5 is 34.
I'm assuming that is going to hit you there, Reinhold. You don't have a defense that high. For the sake of this, rather than rolling damage and stuff, because you are concentrating, and I imagine that your fitness levels have maybe dropped a bit if you're not training as a judge any further. As you go to open back up, the third eye opens first as you break the connection to the psychic link, and you just see the spark coming towards you from the end of Waits' gun, and then everything goes black.
No!
There is a slight electric to your body that vaguely reminds you, and as you seep into blackness, you can't help but have your mind slightly wander back to Freedom Falls, back to the time when you seeped into blackness before walking up the stairs. And wait, you now have an unconscious Judge Reinhold.
She lets out a low whistle and says, "Come on, Tetley. Got work to do."
Tetley is sitting there he's looking between you and Reinhold, and walks over to Reinhold and kind of paws at him and snuffles his nose into him, seemingly concerned until he realizes Reinhold is breathing, and then kind of looks to you, cocks his head, but listens to the whistle and joins at your side. Doesn't sit, but he just kind of looks, the tail wagging a little bit, understanding that something's happening.
So I'd like to use my crit to add something to the scene, if I may.
Yes, go ahead.
On the way down the corridor, I like to think Waits has actually already passed the wheelchair, which is how she got the idea. This is something she's seen Judy do. But she didn't know it was going to work until she saw the wheelchair and knew that she had a way to move Reinhold once she stunned him. Judy's much stronger than Waits and can just carry people around because Judy is Wonder Woman. But Waits is not physically strong. She's physically fast. So she moves Reinhold to the wheelchair, wheeling it into the room, and then pats his lap for Tetley to hop up, pulls a little blanket, and she just wheels him out to the front.
And it's a bit of a struggle to move him in. And bless Tetley, he tries to help. Like, he tried to move one of Reinhold's legs to put it in, and Tetley comes along and grabs along the edge of his trouser cuff and attempts as if he's trying to help you. But he's a small, tiny, short little doggo, and it doesn't really do much, but you appreciate the effort. You cover him over with the blankets and start going out, and as you pass the front door, Leonard looks at you. Where are you taking him? What's happened to Mr. Reinhold? And I imagine you just walk straight past, and he doesn't follow you out. He doesn't know what else to do. He just goes back to his computer.
She just keeps going. And I think at this moment she's paging whatever the Judge Dredd equivalent is of like an Uber.
You call for like a squad car to show up. One shows up. The rookie who's in it, in control, you leave abandoned on the street as you commandeer the car.
I will give him the keys to my whatever it's called, law breaker, giver, taker.
Lawmaster.
That's the one.
He seems very excited. It looks like he's probably a newbie judge. Probably hasn't been given the opportunity to kind of have one of these as his daily ride while on patrol, and quite happily takes it. As you make your way, where are you heading to?
She's gonna head back towards Freedom Falls, where they'd agreed to meet, and she will inform the rookie not to scratch it as she kind of sets off.
Okay. Did we have the result of that poll yet, Charlie? Very quickly.
Let me go and take a looky, Lou. Also, we hit our subscription goal, which means we have another Wild Magic Surge to deal out. An important piece of equipment fails. I think that's what it says, or disappears. What was the end of that one? An important piece of equipment fails at a critical time. Am I gonna need to hitchhike with unconscious Reinhold?
Why would I ever do that to you, Charlie?
I'm not saying you're cruel and unusual, but
would you say we've got another wild magic surge?
we sure do. Would you like to just give that to one of the remaining victims? I mean, players.
I would. I would like to give that to Grease.
All right. So for Grease, I'm rolling the D10,000 right now. Loading. 282. That's a low one. Grease gets. Anyone in Grease's presence thinks that he represents True North.
Yes.
You are the moral compass from now on.
Ha ha!
Oh,
Vindication!
Okay, so wait, you're making your way back, presumably to Freedom Falls. Just Talon, you are still with Grease. Yet to contact Waits, we'll get there. But Judy, you finished your nice chicken sizzler that was put onto a non-hot plate for you. And you have your little doggy bag for Tetley. You're sitting there, having had a few drinks. How many drinks have you had, Judy? How many drinks has Judy had?
Oh, she's had a few. How
many drinks?
I'd say at least 5. She's just been knocking them back.
Okay, I'd like you to roll an endurance test, please.
Okay, what's my
If you happen to have anything like drinking or toxins or something as a skill, you can go ahead and roll that. But I am going to give you, you said 5 drinks, right?
Uh-huh.
I'm going to give you 2 penalty dice.
Oh, no.
So you lose 2 dice.
Okay, all right. So, hey, 3.
You rolled 3.
Big 3.
Judy, it suddenly hits you. Not that you care that you're on duty and that you've had a couple to drink. You've done it once or twice before. It's always been fine. But it's not until you kind of have that moment where you look at the glasses that are piled up because they haven't been cleared just yet. The owner appears to be serving a few other patrons that are sat in the eatery, that you realise there are 5 glasses in front of you.
Oh.
Not including the shot of whiskey that you had previously. The 5 glasses of the cocktail that Talon had named after you.
That's delicious. I just couldn't help it. It's just so tasty.
And then you start to feel it. You start to feel the heat rising, the flush in your face, the slight swimminess of your mind. As you go to stand up off of the stool thinking maybe some fresh air would be good, and you stumble slightly. And that small, tiny bead of panic in the back of your mind tells you that you are slightly inebriated.
Oh, Drock. Okay, no, it'll be fine. Hey, my hand doesn't hurt anymore.
You say that as you touch it, and it still stings. It doesn't hurt as long as you aren't touching it.
Yeah, that's it, right? Like, but she's too drunk to care at this point. She's gonna kind of like, just very try and just, like a drunk person pretending not to be drunk. She's gonna very deliberately pick up her gloves and helmet, and just straighten up and casually walk outside, just to get a bit of a
mostly straight line. As you cross the atrium, like somebody who has had a few too many to drink, you're looking around to see if anyone else has noticed the slightly waving judge.
Mm-hmm.
And you have a thought in the back of your mind. It just goes, "You're drunk." And it's really odd because you don't remember thinking it, but you must have thought it, because the voice in the back of your mind, the voice that everyone has when they think to themselves, "Really, Judge, you're drunk. Is that wise?" As you carry on walking, and they sound like your thoughts. They must be your thoughts. You've had a couple too many.
But immediately, Judy is suspicious because her own brain is never that judgmental.
There's a tingling in the back of your neck. You don't know if that's the alcohol or if it's something else, but these thoughts, they make you uncomfortable. And there's like almost a judgmental, well, if this is what I'm to expect. You aren't psychic, but you're useful. And for a moment, it's like your thoughts are running away with you. But there's just something deeply not right about the way that you're thinking. Because then you do think to yourself, I can't be this drunk. And the voice sounds different. Don't go outside. That's not going to help you. Go upstairs. It's the voice you hear in the back of your mind.
I think Judy, she deliberates for a while, she tries to shake her head to clear it. But if this is her thoughts, then she will go upstairs. But there's part of her that's like, this isn't right. There's something. I'm gonna just do the thing and check it out.
Make me a will test.
Okay. Oh, famously good at will. 7. Got 2 1s in there.
You feel like something really isn't right. These thoughts must be your own. They have to be. But maybe this is sober Judy in the back of your mind trying to stopping you make a terrible decision. Going outside after having a drink can make you feel even queasier. So you head upstairs. I wonder just how competent you are like this, Judy. The voice in the back of your mind says.
Judy, don't test her pride like that. And I think Judy's partly just like, hey, fuck you to her home brain. I can do my shit.
Loud. You're drunk. You say this out loud.
Oh, yeah, she says it out loud.
You just shout, fuck you, and a few people kind of stare and scatter as you stumble up the stairs, shouting at yourself.
And she's definitely clenching her fist, even though her burnt hand is hurting. She's clenching it because this isn't right. Something's going on, and she hasn't unholstered her lawgiver, but her hand is near it, like in a cowboy movie. Her fingers are just near it, and she's gonna keep following.
Let's hope you don't start seeing things. Maybe I am that drunk. The voice says in the back of your mind. And you're still uncomfortable, but the longer this happens, the more the thoughts feel like they must be your own. You must just have had one too many cocktails. What was in that drink? And at the end of the hallway, your eye catches something. The flash of metal. A judge badge. Pauldrons. Feet being dragged. And there's a face. A face that you saw in the file of one of the missing judges. Tell me, Judge Judy, which judge is it that you see? What do they look like?
Oh boy, she sees a judge. I need a surname quick. She sees a judge. Oh god, names are so bad.
Dashford.
Dashford? All right, she sees a Judge Dashford, which is a bit long to put on a badge, but we'll go with it. Dashford is a kind of tall white guy who I think Judy actually trained with a bit in the gym. They've got that sort of gym rivalry going on. He'd be doing curls and she'd put up her weight to be like, fuck off, I can do more than you. He's tall, he's quite broad, quite muscular. One of the other street judges, someone that Judy knows off her beat.
And he is a side judge, you know that, which is why the gym rivalry is so strong, because you're sure that he cheats with telekinesis.
Yeah,
you're sure that's the only reason he can lift those extra weights. And you see him, presumably limp, being dragged by somebody. You know he's one of the judges that went missing on this block, and it's just at the end of the corridor that you're walking along now on one of the upper floors. And you can't see the perpetrator. They appear to be masked with a full balaclava, but you can see clearly the hands underneath dragging this man without seemingly much effort.
Mm-hmm. And she immediately just calls out, "Hey," and starts running. And as she does, she holsters the lawgiver as she's running.
Okay, you unholster the lawgiver and you run and you turn the corner that they've gone down and you can see the same distance. You're sure that you caught up, but maybe the alcohol is affecting your judgments in your distance. But you are within shooting range. You can see the perpetrator dressed in black, faceless with this balaclava over, and the unconscious judge there being dragged backwards.
She switches ammo to stun and aims for the figure dragging Dashford.
Okay, go ahead and make an attack roll.
Okay.
You are going to be at a penalty dice because you have had something to drink.
That's fair. So, okay, that is going to be a 15.
15. You fire off the shot. You hear the crackle as the stun charge goes, and just as it impacts, there's a bright flash of light from the end of your lawgiver that blinds you. You can feel the spark of electricity in your hand, like the weapon itself has conducted some kind of electric charge. And you get pushed backwards as well, stumbling backwards, falling to the floor, the lawgiver clattering off to the side just within reach. And as you scramble for it, out of training, never let your weapon drop, never let it out of your hands. You bring it back up. You feel fine. The weapon feels fine. You look forward, expecting to see a dropped target and an unconscious judge in front of you, and there's nothing there. No judge, no target, no round fired. You can't even see where the casing, because I imagine the stun charge is almost like taser prongs, like a bullet that fires those out. You get up and you stumble over, still a little bit dazed and confused, and you can't even see the prongs on the floor. It's like you didn't fire anything at all.
And by this point, I think she's twigged there's something going on here. She's not an idiot, you know. She might be a little bit relaxed in some elements, but she's not an absolute idiot. She kind of just again shakes her head, like rubs her eyes, and looks around and waits to see if that voice appears in her head again.
The odd thing is, as you kind of shake your head, rub your eyes, and you even check your weapon to see if a round even discharged. Perhaps it got stuck, perhaps that was the electric charge, but the weapon seems fine. You haven't expended any ammunition. You search the floor again, you check the lawgiver over, it's fine. But as you shake your head, the dizziness, the drunkenness seems to fade. Like it takes you a moment to notice that you don't feel that slight sway, the slight stutter in how the world moves as you move through it, and you no longer feel drunk.
She just turns and announces to the corridor, "I'm not a fan of games."
And you announce this to the corridor and kind of look around expectantly. There is no voice. Just your voice in the back of your head. Your own voice in the back of your head, telling you whatever it is you're thinking at this moment. And you hear somebody starting to come down the corridor. It's you raise the lawgiver, and the woman there with the slight shaved part and the tattoos kind of looks at you oddly. Judge, just raises her hands like, I haven't done anything. I was just on my way upstairs.
And she drops it. Go ahead.
Okay. And she walks past, and you swear this woman is familiar. You can't place her name, but you're sure that you've seen her somewhere. She continues on past. You can see the tattoos down the side. She's wearing a kind of like a ripped tank top.
She doesn't have the wing clipper tattoos, right?
She does. You can just see, you assume that that's what they are. You can just see the tops underneath the straps of the tank top.
Judy sighs. Susan?
She stops. Yes?
Some interesting tattoos you got there.
Unfortunately, yes. I was once affiliated with them. I'm not anymore. I went to ISO for a short time, and after a judge did me a very good favor in keeping me safe by sending me there.
Name?
My name is Serena, Judge.
And the judge who sent you to the cubes?
Judge Talon.
All right. Carry on. I know your name now.
Thank you, Judge. And she kind of disappears off. And even then, something is odd about it.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know if it's her or if it's just the whole situation, but something still feels off.
Yeah, and it's not sitting right with Judy, but with everything that's just happened, she's just going to be like, I'm just not right now. And she thinks to herself, because that's why she heard the voice, if you want me, you're going to have to come get me. And then she goes back downstairs to wait for the other crew.
Okay. You go back downstairs, you head back to the bar. You don't feel really drunk anymore. There's that slight kind of tiredness behind the eyes after you've had a few drinks, but that was normal for you. That's not, it doesn't feel like the odd drunkenness from before. You make your way back to the bar. Your glasses have been cleared away. And as you sit down, the bartender comes over and brings you a coffee.
She gives a thumbs up as she just sits there with a cup of coffee like,
Talon, you are probably still arguing with Judge Grease over actors in movies. And I don't know if Waits has checked in yet to let you know she has Reinhold.
I like to think she would have paged Talon to let her know.
Okay, so you know that Waits is currently en route with Judge Reinhold.
Talon would have asked Waits to swing by on her way back with Reinhold.
Do you do so, Judge Waits?
Yeah, she would have gone over if Talon had requested it.
You go over. Do you leave Reinhold in the car covered up?
Oh, like he's passed out in the back of the car with Tetley. Yeah.
Okay, Tetley is kind of laid on Reinhold's chest, occasionally looking at his face, making sure he's okay. Luckily, the cars have got tinted windows, so it saves anyone peering in to see the unconscious man in the back. As you walk up to this strange white...
He's a pep.
You walk up to this house, this apartment. You've seen these before, these large like white cubes that seem to have no entry. They've been popping up in the mega city as a very expensive luxury tech home. Although it's somewhat out of place in this part of Mega City 1. You expect to see it in some of the more affluent areas. You see no discernible way in. You've had a small amount of training on these, that these are programmable by their owners. They can include security systems. But how you get into this one, kind of don't know, but you walk up to the front. And Grace, am I right in thinking that the two large...
I like to think before she does that, she pages Talon to check what the situation is, not knowing why she's had to come to Grease's.
Okay, you get that page, Talon.
Talon just kind of looks at Grease and goes, switch to auto. Let me borrow the voice activation system.
Go for it.
And what you hear over the voice activate as Waits steps up into the line of sight is an approximation of Grease's voice mumbling something.
So Waits, as you step
softly
up, you have these two square panels in the side open up from nowhere. These two slightly oversized weapons come out pointing, and an optical camera comes down at your face. There's some strange mumbling.
Talon, your comms are open. She assumes she's now interrupting something that she shouldn't be.
It's distinctly sounds like grease, and it's mumbling again.
You're hearing this through this intercom system that's obviously somewhere on the outside of this building.
Grace, what have you done to Talon? She yells through the door.
Well, I got you, Judge, in here. And I'm gonna do her up just like Caro. If you don't apologize right now.
I don't negotiate with terrorists. And she flicks her gun up to a higher setting and eyes the tech home.
Just apologize, Waits.
You hear Talon's voice over the intercom.
I don't negotiate with hostages either. And she's looking for a way in.
And you see no sign of a door. There's just these two panels that seem to have come out of nowhere where these weapons have come down, and this kind of optic camera that's come out of another panel.
And she's now thinking, what would Judy do? What would Judy do? How do I take out both guns at once?
Scanning hostile.
The only way the guns shut down is if you say, "I'm sorry."
Ooh, weapons detected.
Switch
I'm not
to
sorry.
kill.
And she shoots. And she wants to try and aim it to get a ricochet to try and take out. But she's seen Judy do it once. And she believes. And she's using Kane's maths. Everything Kane taught her about figuring out the trigonometry of things. And the exact precise laws of physics that apply to all things in action movies. And just shoots to try and take out both guns.
Go ahead and make your attack and have a bonus dice.
Thanks, Jim.
Of the combined efforts of Judy and Kane.
They are my best mentors. I'm just checking my sheet. All right, so I get 2
You are
dice
the
for
worst
pistol,
parents.
2 for agility, and 1 from Virginia. 9, 10, 14.
You fire off the shot. It hits one of the guns. And basically you can see the dent it's left in the barrel. What that means for the gun if it tries to fire, you're not entirely sure.
Ooh, hold on. I get a bonus if I aim, so I get 2 more dice. I've just noticed because I have perfect aim as a feat thing.
Go ahead and roll those.
So it's an additional 8, so that's what, 22? Did I say 14? I think so.
Okay, so the first one, it dents into the barrel. Whether or not that means it won't fire or it will fire and everything will be even worse, you're not sure. But it does ping off the side of that barrel as you maneuver around, and you see that it hits into the part of the firing mechanism of the other gun. It tears through the metal, but you can't tell if it comes out the other side or not. But you ricochet the bullet.
And at this moment, I would like to say that we hit 40 retweets on our first stream of the season, which means 2 wild magic surges because we are wild up in here. And I think this is a perfect time to do them as Waits takes her shot.
Yes.
So I'm just going to roll them, Virginia, and you can apply them as you deem fit. So,
Chat, you're
first
giving me all of
number
the power tonight.
ultimate power. 5831. Let's look it up.
I like the mixture of terror and also joy on everyone's faces right now at the idea of the wild magic surges.
Oh, this is a bad one. Target has a secret name that, if spoken, will kill him outright. Gender bias not inserted by me. Rolling for number 2. 8805. I love this table and fear this table. No, we're not going to do that one. It ruins the scenario if we do that. 5030. All right. Okay, target asserts that he'll die if anyone nearby uses magic. Maybe a belief that psi powers are dangerous. I think that would be the equivalent of Dredd magic, right?
Yeah. I might use these on some NPCs that will be coming up.
All right, sounds good to me. So you've got those two. Don't forget, blood spilt combusts.
Yeah.
Judy believes that she can handle anything red hot, hence why she's married to Kane. And I forget what Reinhold has. Was it Reinhold that had the other one? No, Greece. Greece is true north.
Greece is
We
true
all
north,
believe
and we
it.
also
right.
have a piece of important equipment failing at some point
Yes,
as well.
we
Is that
do.
fair?
So that is the Chaos and Wild Magic brought to us by the Killer Chaos Chorus over in chat tonight. Thank you all so much. Back to the action. Pew, pew.
Okay. Greece, you see these warning signs flashing on your control. Damage to weapon systems.
Terry, the AI, giant optical eye, looks down at Waits.
Ha! Nice shot.
My turn! Edit.
And he's just going to take 2 railgun shots at Waits. But they're going to fail because she damaged, which causes one arm to lose pressure, aim at the other one, and blow it off.
And
So
I
these railguns just basically take each other out because one explodes while shooting the other one.
And Waits, you see as these railguns begin to move, and it's instinctive for you to kind of back away for a moment, keeping your gun trained, and one of them turns. It tries to lock on you, and it's like it can't get the lock as it moves. The other gun moves, and quickly one of them flicks across to the other, picking up the movement. Clearly you've damaged some sensors as well, and gunshots are heard, not in your direction. You see one of these guns smoke, and there's a small burst of, like a small explosion, a burst of flame, of ammunition pinging off inside wherever the chamber for this weapon is, as it fires out at the other gun, which is then also hit and begins to smoke and spark. And both very limply then do their typical and power down. You can't help but get the feeling, though, that... Sorry, go on, Talon.
Okay. At this point, you hear Talon's voice. Oh, for fuck's sake, we have judges missing. Would you just apologize, Waits?
And Waits, there's a moment as you're talking to Grease, as you're oddly in his presence through this, you can't help but think that maybe he might have a little bit of the moral high ground here, despite the guns.
How dare you?
That perhaps, hey, look, that was wild magic. You can blame chat for this one. You know that you're not necessarily wrong, but maybe he's a bit more right in this case. If it just... Maybe you might have to swallow some pride.
Greece, what is it I am apologizing for?
You know what you did? You sent me to the ISO cubes after I helped reform the government of that damned mega block.
Fine. I'm borrowing another trick from Judy. She says, I'm sorry for not sentencing you for longer.
I'm sorry, you cut out there for a second. What was that last part?
I'm sorry for not sentencing you for longer.
Scanning. Apology.
Apology accepted. You may come in.
Wait, no, Terry, what are you doing? All of a sudden the door opens.
This door appears out of nowhere in the perfectly flat surface of this building, and you can enter. You can see Talon ahead.
And she does the tactical crouch, gun forward to change her height from the expected height as she goes in, following Kane's laws for proper breach protocol.
And you see Talon at the end of the hallway, standing there between you and Grease.
You
Talon,
can't make me
Reinhold
go
is taking
back.
car.
Oh, good. So let's go. You got Tetley? And Talon
course,
just
Judge
gives out
Tetley.
this piercing whistle for Tetley.
Judge Tetley is keeping Judge Reinhold company. Grease.
You can't make me go back. I'm still on holiday.
But think of all
Look,
the
here's the word.
interesting people you can corrupt and arm with guns.
Are you saying I get a free pass? Is that Talon, you witnessed it. She said that I could corrupt people and give them weapons. All right, I'm in.
Oh, yeah,
Waits
it's got it
regrets
recorded in
learning
place of that.
sarcasm from Judge Judy.
Okay.
Judge Grease, your methods were not entirely futile,
Of course
but there
they
is
weren't.
work to be done.
Okay, so a few judges are missing. We'll find the guy. We'll put a slug in his head. I know how this goes. I did it before. I'll do it again.
It's Grease. It's Shay. Grease. Your Grease.
What, the butter?
No. The woman.
Oh. You leave it to me. I'll give her some of that chimpy charm.
That's my wife.
So,
I don't say that in
Nobody
character.
can resist Brando.
I imagine you make your way out into the car that Waits has, at least probably for you, Grease, unless you have some other transport. You don't have a lawmaster at the moment. You have no judge equipment whatsoever until you retrieve it. You do actually still have a small cache of it in the refuge, which still exists. The judges now have access to it. It serves as a small kind of storage base in case anything is needed at a moment's notice. But you start making your way back. There is an unconscious Reinhold in the back of the car, and a Judge Tetley who's very pleased to see you, Grease. It hasn't reached your day of the week yet to look after the doggo. But he's very excited to see all of you.
Ugh. What is this creature? Oh, no. There's a reason why you sleep out in the small cube, okay? Oh, God, you're just so disgusting with your long nose and your weird bun fur.
And you start making your way back to Freedom Falls to meet up with Judy. And whether or not you've revealed Judy is stationed with you for the time being is yet to be seen. But Judy, you are back, had your coffee, you feel slightly better. Until, typically as in fashion, especially for you, you hear shouting coming out from the atrium.
She puts on one glove, not the other, because the other's still burnt. Puts on a helmet and like pats it on top, and steps out to hear what the shouting is.
And you can see that Jana, the medic, she is trying to talk to this young gentleman. He looks slightly frazzled. His clothing is a bit torn in places, and he is screaming at the top of his lungs for no one to touch him. And Jana is trying to approach, and every time he gets too close, he has, in typical fashion, what looks to be a small scalpel, and doesn't seem to be aiming at her, but is using it to keep her at a distance. And a few other people, you don't know whether or not they're involved in this or they've just jumped in, trying to calm him down. But he is just shouting and screaming, and it's kind of echoing, and it takes you a moment to key into what's happening. As you can hear Jana going, "No one is going to hurt you. You need to calm down. All I asked was your name. That's it. That's all I wanted to know. Then I can treat you for whatever it is that is going wrong." And you can see her hair that's normally tied up in this tight ponytail or bun. It looks loose, like it's been pulled free or knocked free. You can see that she has got some blood on this overall that she's wearing. And he's just screaming. he can't tell you his name.
Mm-hmm.
He can't have those people near him. And Jana's trying to explain that he's scared a young girl who was also in the clinic at the time, and he says, I can't be near them. I can't be near them. I can't tell you my name. I can't be near them. I won't go back there. I won't go near them. And other people seem to have got in to stop him, what it looks like running off, because he's trying to back away and notices them and moves.
Mm-hmm. So Judy's just going to take a second just to see what's happened, see what the situation is, to assess the threat. And she's going to, because he's clearly in like a hysterical sort of mood right now. He's not you can't reason with him by what she can see. So she just goes, grabs the lawgiver, sets to stun, aims at him. I'm going to try and put him out.
Okay. Go ahead and roll for that attack.
Okay,
and I'm
going to...
any penalty dice.
Sweet. And I'm going to aim on this, which will give me an extra d6. So... Okay, this should be a lot, because Judy's good at shooting. Okay, that is a 19.
19. You fire the shot off, and a couple of people, upon hearing the kind of bang as the round goes off, and you fire it, don't even look necessarily to what's going on, but glance down at the side of the lawgiver to see if it shows the depletion in ammunition, which it does, like it didn't before. And you hear a few people kind of duck and scream as it goes off, not really understanding what's just happened, as your round hits true and hits this man squarely in the back. And he stumbles forward, he drops the scalpel as the stun charge goes off, and Jana moves in to catch him. He's not unconscious, but it's like that moment after you've been tasered. You're confused, you don't know what's happening. He's kind of on the floor. And Jana is there, kind of laying him down gently. She looks up at you and kind of nods. And he's still hysterical. He's on the floor, he's out of breath, but he's still shouting, don't come near me. She's like, just tell me your name, please, and let me help you. What's wrong? And he's like, no, I can't be near her. She's like, let me just take you back to the medical center. He's like, I can't be near them. I can't be near them. They'll kill me.
Near who?
As you go over and he looks at you, it's like, you're one of them. I can't be near them. Are you one of them?
Am I one of who? Judge?
One of the ones with the, and he kind of taps his head and kind of puts his fingers out as he sits up. So Jana kind of helps him up, and he clearly hasn't got the strength right now to stand after your stun shot. And he's like, no. She'll kill me. She will. If she uses it, she will. You can't. Don't let her find out my name.
She? Who's she?
You can't look in here and find out my name. You can't. The other one did, and the other one did, and she said she'd say it, and then I'd be gone if I didn't do it.
Look, buddy, if you think I'm a side judge, I ain't. You're okay. I don't know. I don't need to know your name. I don't need to know anything. Just who is she? What are you so afraid of?
She knows. She said I had another name, and that if she said it, bad things would happen if I didn't do it. So I did it.
Do what? What did you do?
She'll say the name if I tell you. You do that magic, that stuff. I can't. No. If you use it, bad things will happen. I promise.
I don't. If I use what?
And it's at this moment when you're here, and this man is trying to kind of scoot away backwards. He's still frazzled from the stun, and Jana's trying to hold on to him. Some of the other people now, seeing that you have arrived and this man is under control, have kind of gone off. Partly in fear, because shots have been fired. Some of them losing interest. And this is when the rest of you arrive. When Waits, Talon, Reinhold in the wheelchair, and Judge Grease, and Judge Tetley, you come through, and it's off to the side of the atrium, not too far from the eatery, that you can hear this screaming and shouting from what sounds like a young gentleman. You can hear the voice of Jana trying to calm him down over it, and you see Judy standing there. Judy, you hear a metallic clanging coming from behind you and soft padding, and as you take the moment just to glance down, you see Judge Tetley has already made his way over here. at your side, looks up at you, has a moment to kind of brush up against you, then brings back his judgely demeanor as he stands there, ready, tail wagging just ever so slightly in excitement.
Ordinarily, Judy would scritch him behind his ears because he's a very good boy, but serious right now. So she walks over to this man and she takes him under one arm.
And he flinches away from you. Like, he puts hands on you and pushes, and he's, no, don't, if you use it near me, she'll say the name, and then bad things will happen. Okay, he starts just shouting, looking up. I did what you asked. I did the thing, okay?
What did you do? I'm running out of patience. Tell me what you did.
I can't. She'll kill me. She'll kill me. She'll say the name, and then I'll be gone. And this is what you all come into: Waits, Talon, Grease, and I'm assuming Reinhold is still unconscious, or has he started to come round now, Waits?
I like to think he started to come around.
Reinhold, you start to regain consciousness. You feel yourself moving, but not with your legs. And as you look,
Waits gave him like a stem because she didn't want to have to carry him through Freedom Falls.
Yeah. As you're being pushed by somebody, and you can hear voices, you open up. You recognize this place. It's slightly different. This is Freedom Falls. You're in Freedom Falls. It looks better, slightly more rejuvenated than the last time you saw it. There are shops open. You look to your side, bleary-eyed, and you can see what looks to be Judge Talon in her civvy clothes. You can hear the chatter of Grease next to her. You kind of turn behind you, and Judge Waits is pushing you, looking forwards. And just up ahead, a judge that you recognize. Judge Judy, Jana, the medic, and there is a man screaming, and it's kind of hard at the moment as you come through and you're groggy, but you can't really make out what he's saying other than, don't come near me, I can't be near them. I did it, don't say the name.
I'm missing taco night for this. Can I like figure out, like, I don't even address anybody. I'm really quite furious that I'm here right now and not in the lounge watching Jeopardy. Can I just like look hard at this guy and probe his mind?
You look
Why is this guy
hard
screaming?
At him. Go ahead and make a side check.
Hey Charlie, roll 7 d6s for me. You marvelous human, you.
And Judge Judy, you see as he's talking, he suddenly goes silent. He looks past your shoulders. You turn around, you see the rest of your squad. He's
26.
He's got his eyes fixed on Reinhold. And his eyes go wide and goes, no magic. But it's too late. Reinhold, you've already started to focus and it's starting to come back to you. Something about being in this place reminds you how to use these abilities that have laid dormant for so long. You probe into his mind. You hear the voice of a woman. Yes, you did it, but now you need to not tell them. If you tell them, I will say the name. I will say the name and you'll be gone. Don't let them near you. Their magic, it will kill you. I promise. But I will keep you safe. Only I can utter the name, your name, without harming you. I am all you have now. Just me.
You're all dead. Do you understand me? You just don't know it yet. I know you all want to talk about her, but we're not going to talk about her. No, we're not going to talk about her. We're going to leave her out of it. Do you understand me? Her eyes are too many colors. She will win. She's too strong, and it's too late. And we should all go to taco night before she turns our brains inside out. Period.
I cannot believe that I am about to say this, but I agree with the Triclops. Taco night sounds great. This guy is crazy. And Grease pulls out like a rubber band that has Peacekeeper on it and points it at the crazy guy. I could just take him out right now. Just knock him out. We could just question him later.
And he starts panicking, and he grabs onto you, Judy, as you've now crouched down beside him. No, please don't let it. Please, I did the thing. I don't. And he's just like, he can't even talk. He's just panicking. And Reinhold, you've still got this connection. And you can still hear the voice in the back of his mind going, shh, Lucian, it's okay. It's okay. I can speak your name safely. Just don't tell them. I can say it. It's okay. It's okay. Just don't tell them. It's your secret name. My name for you. It's okay. And you, Judy, you don't really know what's happening, but he stops for a moment as if he's listening to something. Mm-hmm. He starts to calm slightly and release grip on the front of your uniform. I won't tell them my name. I won't tell them my name. It's okay. They'll let me go. And I've done the thing, and then it's fine, and you will look after me, and it will be fine. As if he's talking to somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Judge Reinhold, perhaps it's time to close some of her eyes. And flicking her gun back to stun, she's going to stun this guy to stop talking, because clearly we all have to have a conversation about this. And he's very distracting. Shooting Lucian, not Reinhold, just for clarity of who I am shooting.
And I won't make you roll for this. You fire off the shot, and to be honest, you can walk up there, and I don't know, I feel like in my mind there must be a way to kind of apply it like a taser, where you put it on, shoot at close range without the power.
Yeah, we call it the Grease short circuit, right?
Yeah. And it stuns him, and he, oddly enough, he's still not unconscious. He's just even more kind of faded out. He's still quietly muttering to himself. And Jana almost gives you a look like it wasn't necessary. But only for a split second before she goes trying to tend to him, and he's just muttering, and occasionally his eyes flick over to Reinhold and they widen. But for the most part, he is mumbling.
Sorry, does Talon recognize this kid?
Go ahead and make me a reputation check.
Wait. Can I use perception on this as well?
Yeah, because you know this block well. This is your hangout, your place.
12.
12. You don't know him by name. You've seen him in the medical center a little bit, occasionally helping Jana out. You don't know if he's a volunteer there or if it's just he drops by and when he's got some time, will help her out with things. But you've definitely seen him at some of the, like the helping for like the blood drives that happen here and some of the medical supplies, like helping offload them and stuff. But you don't know him by name.
She looks at Talon. She looks at Jana and says, just knock him out, all the way out. Take him all the way down.
I've tried. I've tried, but I can't get him to sleep. He came in complaining of headaches, and he wouldn't give me his name. I see so many people. I have so many volunteers. I just wanted to check him in the system, and then he went hysterical.
Does anyone else have these symptoms?
Not that I've seen. He went hysterical about the name, said that he couldn't tell me his name, and then I don't know if we ever gave the little girl that Waits helped
I don't
name.
remember her having a name.
Waits, what is her name?
Charisma.
I love it.
Charisma.
Good
Okay,
name.
that's the name. I imagine we call her like Karis for short or something.
Yes, I like that.
She says, Karis came in for her, her monthly checkup, and then he we tested some of her abilities to see the strength, and then he really did go ballistic, grabbed a scalpel, ran out, and then she kind of gestures as if to say this happened.
He's in your list. He's in your system.
This guy's restrained, right? To keep him from hurting himself?
Yeah, I've put him in cuffs now by this point.
Actually, Jana will have some like soft cuffs that you can put him in that will still hold. But for the most part, he's kind of slightly delirious and half asleep on the floor. But she's like, I've tried 3 tranquilizers on the way down here when I could get to him, and none of them have worked. I've given enough to take down, well, probably half the block. But he just keeps muttering. He won't. I wish I could just remember his name. But like I said, I have so many volunteers. I could run it and...
His simian hands. Don't worry, nurse. I got a plan. I've dealt with side judges before. Got the perfect thing. Okay? Side judges affect your mind. And as soon as you realize they're in your mind, you can control the narrative, man. Watch this. He goes up to the guy. And he places a simian, 2 simian fingers, and clamps down his nose to get him to look at him. Not hard. He's not going to break the nose. He's just kind of cutting off airflow. So
you do that, and his arms kind of flail. They're cuffed in front of him, and he can't focus on you. He's been stunned twice. He's been pumped full of tranquilizer, and he's still mumbling to himself. And it's like he doesn't even notice that you've got your fingers pinched up against his nose. You think for a moment he focuses on you, but then he's almost looking past you, just mumbling.
He then places a hand over the man's mouth. Now this is not going to be anything fatal or lethal. I'm going to make that now. But until he focuses, he's going to basically trying to cut off oxygen until he passes out.
You do this, and he can't focus. There is just nothing. You can even hear him mumbling underneath your hand. I just don't want them to know. I just don't want to say the name. I promise I won't tell them what I did for you. I promise. Just keep me safe. I promise. As he's mumbling this underneath. And you feel the breathing slow. And Jana at this point literally pushes you off. She's like, that's enough.
He grabs with his 2 simian feet. He grabs the bed rails. Nurse, you just said you pumped him through with how many tranquilizers and we just stunned him? I feel like if we cut off oxygen to the brain a little bit and you get him back into like normal working condition, we basically exercise the psychic. Okay? I've worked with side judges before. This is my ballpark. I got this.
Jana, go and check on the girl.
I'll come back down with the stretcher to take him back up to the medical center, but I'm sure she's fine. I'll go and check on her now. Can I leave you with him?
We are the law.
I got him.
I'll be back with a stretcher.
Talon's already in the system. Talon's been in the system looking for him.
Okay, I will say that if you're spending enough time and you want to take the time, you can go through the system to find out who he is. It takes a while, and actually you can't do it by photo. Not everyone has got photo in the system here. Right. You actually have to do it by tattoos, the smaller details that take time, and it takes you the best part of maybe an hour. As you're all here.
She's going through Jana's system.
You still have to do it that way. Not everybody has got photographs. Okay. There's lots of missing information, but by looking at some of the stuff on him, some of the tattoos that he has, where she's obviously been documenting as much as possible. It's understandable. Some people don't want to give their names, but Jana tries to collect as much as she can in order to treat them. And it comes back that his name is Lucian.
Okay. So, because she's still in civvies and she's known to the block, I think she's secured the area. She's made sure everybody's gone back, that they've drawn quite a crowd. They don't need more of this. And I think she'll look at Judy and say, "Oh, help me carry him upstairs. Let's get him out of here. It's the last thing he needs."
You do notice, however, that as soon as Grease was pushed off and he began to breathe normally again, he was conscious almost immediately, still muttering, talking to this unseen person, it seems, or to himself. You're not sure which. But he's still kind
She's
of
just telling me,
frazzled.
you don't have to tell nobody nothing. It's all right. We're good. Don't need to know your name. Don't need to know. Come on, let's go. And she's just going to kind of pick this kid up with an arm around him, put his arm over her shoulder, and just start walking him away, heading to the elevators to get upstairs.
Okay.
So
He's not crazy, no. He's compromised. He's in. She'll walk right in, and she'll get you right where you can't get away. She finds out something about you that only you know, that she can use to break you from the inside. This is why we'll lose. This is why you need to put me back in the car and take me home, because we'll lose.
At that, Judy will look straight past Reinhold to Waits. This is your team.
The one I was assigned.
Trust me, we're more effective than we appear.
Judge Reinhold, you are home. And you are not a coward. And this is war. Suit up, arm yourself, prepare yourself. You are not leaving here.
In the awkward
With
silence,
you.
the lift dings as you reach the floor to the medical center, making your way out, carrying the mumbling but docile man. As you walk up to the medical center, you can see it's in a bit of a mess. The young girl that you have seen so many times before, Judge Waits, looks like she's just leaving with her mother. But the medical center is a mess, and as you walk in, you can smell it, Waits. And it reminds you that you haven't fed today yet. The smell of blood is overwhelming, and you look, and just down further the corner, out of view from where you first came in, you can see the blood bank room, the blood scattered over the floor.
And she takes a deep breath in, almost as if like trying to eat with her nose, if that makes sense. Kind of when something smells really good and you're like, if I just keep breathing it in, it's almost the same as eating it.
And then you remember that attached to a part of your belt is that small pack that Jana gave you. Although you realize it's probably gone a little bit warm by this time. But probably still good.
She pulls it like a Capri Sun and stabs it with the little straw and just starts like...
It's thick, slightly coagulated at this point, but nourishing nonetheless.
It's like a really lukewarm, thick shake.
Yeah. And you go in, and Jana, it looks like she's prepared a bed for this man and directs you to place him down. She straps him to the bed and just looks as I guess I just have to wait until he calms down. There's nothing else I can do. And she looks in this moment like she's finally taken in the carnage of this place. She looks at the blood bank. She looks around at the medical utensils that scattered across the floor, broken bottles, medicine that has been pulled off of shelves. She takes a breath in and has to kind of cover her face from the smell of the blood that's now warming down the corridor.
Talon is trying to de-escalate with as much as she can. She's like trying to keep herself between this kid's eyesight and the others, blocking his view of the others, helping Jenna with that. She'll once the guy's down, she'll figure out a way to put like pull the curtain or something around him so that he can't see, and she'll just look at Grease and at Reinhold and say, "The cash is still there. You know the code, Grease. Your gear's there. And spares. I'm gonna help her get this place cleaned up."
And Waits, Jana fills up a mop bucket and she looks at you and says, You're good with that stuff. There's a few bags in it for you if you can sort it out. And kind of pushes them over to you.
Note to look at the green room chat a second.
Yep.
Okay. Waits gives a nod and kind of neatly rolls up the little blood bag that's now empty and tucks it away neatly to a
takes it from you. She takes it from you and disposes of it as you take this mop bucket and mop. Reinhold, I imagine you're still, unless you've got out of it, you've got the wheelchair that you have been wheeled in.
No, I'm sitting in a wheelchair in a terry cloth bathrobe and boxer shorts with a white t-shirt that says Giger's Home for retired side judges.
You're like our discount Professor X.
Yeah. You also have a blanket which Waits put over you. Judy, you can't help feel that there's something off about this too. After your experience earlier, which I'm assuming you haven't told anyone about yet, but first the weird voices and then the strange drunkenness, and now this man hysterical talking to somebody who isn't there. Everything kind of calms down. Now you're in the refuge. Jana makes some tea. She starts picking up equipment and putting it into various machines to sanitize it again. Talon, you are with this man covering up. And he is quieter, but still apparently delirious. Waits, you start mopping the room just as Jana makes everyone tea, and Judy, you're handed another cup of coffee. So are you, Talon, and so are you, Reinhold. Grease, you are offered it if you wish it as well, and she leaves one on the side for you. Waits, as you start mopping this up, as people are picking things up, and you start to smell burning. Waits, as you mop this floor, just a hint at first, you think maybe it's your gun, it's just the smell of gunpowder and you're just picking it up. And you realise in this room how much these blood bags, this is like it's almost like a chiller room. It looks like the door has been pulled open and they are just, it looks like a scuffle's happened in here. You can see that there are what look to be like some syringes left on the back floor, but they're empty. So whether they were stored in here and have been knocked over, you're not sure. But as you start mopping up the blood, the smell of burning gets stronger until you look back and all of you realize, as this is just off around the corner down the corridor, you see smoke from the main room. Waits, you see the orange licks of flame as the smell of smoke and the crackling sound behind you begins to make sense. Fire. The blood everywhere that you've mopped, everywhere that has only got now a light sheen of red mixed in with this water, is burning, and burning fiercely.
I think instinctively logic doesn't kick in, and so she kicks the bucket assuming water is going to tip out the fire. Just as this flame is coming towards her, something that she does fear. She has a fear of fire, so she kind of kicks the bucket and the water kind of gushes out. But I imagine it's not going to help things with there being blood in the bucket.
You kick it. This water spills across the rest of the floor where the blood has seeped under the racks in this room. And all of you down the corridor hear a loud explosion. It's not enough to knock anyone off their feet. It's the kind that you get when it's almost like something's pressurized or it gets too hot and a fire bursts out even into brighter flames. And you all hear this as you see the rush, the backlash of the flames down the corridor and the thick black smoke now pouring out. Jana drops the cup of tea that she's holding.
Luckily, Judy is not afraid of things that are red hot, and she knows Waits is down there, so she goes running in towards the fire to go and grab Waits.
You go in towards the fire and you can see the two racks, that you can see these blood bags scattered across the floor, and it looks like the racks have kind of come in together, creating this horrible kind of, they've all locked in, and as the metal's heated, they've twisted slightly. You can see they're glowing red hot. You can see Waits behind it, conscious, but kind of on the floor, and Waits, there's smoke and there's flames, and it's by pure luck that you've kicked the bucket away from you. So the water hasn't spilled directly up to you. You've got maybe a foot of space around you that isn't being currently consumed by flames, but they creep ever closer. Judy, you can just make out her form as the red hot metal in front of you creaks and twists and starts to collapse even more.
So Judy, with her gloved hand, is going to try and just make her way through that metal in front, even though it's glowing red hot. She doesn't have that fear. She knows she's going to get burnt. But she's just going to try and get through to get to Waits, like push it out of the way.
Okay, go ahead and make me an endurance test.
Okay, endurance.
And it's here, as you've only got the one gloved hand, the actual heat of the area, you can feel your other hand stinging, painfully reminding you of what happened earlier. But the fear is gone.
That's a 16. That was good.
16.
That was a good roll.
Okay, you can still feel it licking at the exposed skin on your hand, the exposed skin at the top of the neck, but you pull your helmet down, you start moving with your gloved hand, and you can feel even the material that it's made of being as heat-proof as it is, you can feel the stickiness as it starts to burn away. As you push your way through, and you can feel bits of the uniform where it's touching the metal begin to melt, and you push your way through to Waits. And Waits, someone is coming towards you. What is everyone else doing? Reinhold, Talon, Grease, as Judy just gets up and runs for it into this back room.
Huh. What a weird way to run. I don't know if we can trust her.
I watch her show every week. She's a good officer, and she'll be fine.
She hasn't been in any
Yeah.
movie that I saw.
No, she's on Tuesdays at 2. It's good.
Oh, that's makes sense. I don't watch TV on Tuesdays. Huh. I guess I'll have to tune in.
Yeah, I eat blue Jello and watch Judge Judy every week. So I need some pants.
Don't got any in your sight, but more importantly, should we be worried about that? She just kind of ran off.
Well, I mean,
You
do
can
I
all
know
see
there's a
the
fire?
Yeah, you heard the explosion, the flames come out, and all this thick black smoke, and that's when Judy got up and went running towards it. Because Grease, that Waits is back there.
All right, I stand up and tie my bathrobe and start heading that direction.
You
Right, now
stand up.
everybody's running. Wait, where's that black smoke coming from? Oh no! My stash! And he starts running after Reinhold.
And Talon, what are you doing? Is Jana is she's frozen in shock. She's dropped the tea she was holding.
At the initial explosion, the first thing she did was try to cover this kid's body, and then when she realized that, okay, there's that, she just grabs Jana, brings her over to the kid's bedside, just be ready to run, and then she goes for fire suppression system. However that works, finds the fire extinguisher. It's got to be in here. And she goes looking for a fire extinguisher and any type of fire suppression system.
There's no fire suppression system as such, unfortunately, but there is an extinguisher in here that you grab, and it feels heavy and looks like it's full, and you run towards. You can see Reinhold adjusting his bathrobe as he goes down the corridor, and Grease heading off as well. Judge Waits, you can see Judy making her way through, helmet on, but it's blackened and burned as you have to actually clear it away. You can see where bits of the uniform has melted as she's crawled through these metal cages that have basically fallen. and is reaching out towards you. Waits, make me an endurance test.
All right, sure. Well, I like to think that Waits that classic thing of being knocked off her feet by the explosion and is down on the floor, kind of coughing and spluttering. And
take a penalty dice for this as well.
All of those attractive things that people do when they've just been burnt up. But, the scalding's just in the right places. And you can see the little veiny lines of her vampirism. Endurance. Oh, I get 3 dice for that. And then a -1.
Yeah.
2 dice for that. No, does flirting give me a bonus dice in this moment as I reach towards Judy and my eyes lock and I know that she's the dream judge I've wanted all along. I thought it was Kane, but really it's that apple-scented goddess, Judge Judy.
Someone's going to write fanfic about that now, you know that, don't you? No, because this is nothing to do with what Judy is trying to help you with.
I rolled a 6.
You rolled a 6. And that someone is me. I love you so much. Wait, as you're knocked to the floor and it's hot, you start to feel hot in a way that isn't good. There's burning around you, but you can feel the inside of you burning.
Where is she?
She's in the back of this blood bank room. She was cleaning up all the blood that was spilt on the floor. But wait, you can feel this burning inside, almost if you've ever had something spicy, or a cocktail that's had like Tabasco sauce in it or something, you can feel it in your throat first. Like you've had a tequila, something that's burning the back of your throat before it becomes excruciatingly painful. And you can't do anything but scream. And Judy, you hear this as you reach out towards Waits. And Waits, you are now cradling your stomach, because that is where the source of this burning is worst. What do you do, Judy?
Gonna just try and get to, like, army crawl if I have to just get her and drag her out, even though she's screaming and she's not being helpful in her own rescue.
Okay, make me a strength test.
Okay.
As you finally push through,
that's a 13.
Okay, you push through these cages and actually manage to right one of them in that moment. It burns your hands up more, but you get to Waits and you can slowly begin to drag her out. And as you do, you can see Reinhold behind you, and Talon arrives with the fire extinguisher and starts putting the flames out. And this fire extinguisher, you can see the mist fill the area, and you can feel the heat slowly subside slightly. The area is still warm, but Waits is still screaming. And Waits, you can still talk. It's just, it's burning. It's not like it's, like eating your insides, but it's starting to get worse and worse.
I think she basically communicates her symptoms as best she can through like watering eyes and the interruption of just screams of agony and clenching up in on herself.
And Judy, as you've got her in your arms, and I imagine you're strong enough to pick her up, you can feel she's not just hot from the flames. It's not just like some of the judge uniform has melted, where she too has caught some of the metal, but she feels like she's burning up, like somebody with a fever, a temperature.
So gonna do, like, I'll rip off my helmet because it's mostly melted and shit anyway. Like rip hers off, get some of the pauldrons off, so we're not covered in hot metal, scoop her up, and basically turn to the others. We have to get her to the meds now. Just see the nurse. There's something wrong with her.
And luckily, that's just around the corner. As you get round, and Talon, you finish putting the fire out, Grease and Reinhold, you can see the shell of this room now, the twisted and burnt blood bags, all of which have popped or are empty, the dark red stain on the floor, the smell of burning blood, and the remnants of the soapy water along the outside. But you put Waits down onto one of the tables and Jenna rushes over. What's wrong with her? Did she get caught? Is she okay?
She's a vampire.
I mean...
What?
Oh, come on. Don't tell me that I was the first one to figure this out. She doesn't like UV lights. She drinks the blood of people that it spilt. Oh, come on. Obviously vampiric.
I mean, yeah, duh.
Oh, it's just he sounds
Really?
so surprised.
You guys are her team, and you. Oh my god. Nurse, I have no idea what.
What's the
screaming?
problem?
Some sort of pain inside. Waits, and she's like, Judy's like looking over, like, Waits, talk to me, Waits.
And it's
Follow
just
me,
like,
get back.
fire, it burns, my stomach is getting worse. Ow!
Everybody get
And
back.
Gemma,
Vampire,
Gemma,
no
stop.
vampire. I want to do psychic healing,
Okay.
if that's okay. I'm interrupting. That's all right.
No, you can go ahead and
I-
do that. As Gemma starts
I
checking
walk-
her.
Get back, Jana. I've got it.
She steps back, and you can hear in the background as Reinhold is preparing, there's a laughter. A soft laughter from the young man in the bed behind the curtain. So, I did it. I told you that I did it. See, you don't have to say the name. You don't have to tell them who I am. Oh, you don't have to tell them who I am. No, I did it. No, don't use that. No. If you do that near me, it'll kill me. She'll kill me if you use that near me. And you don't know what he's talking about. He's behind this curtain that Talon pulled around, but he's hysterical again, louder and louder as Reinhold begins to focus.
Talon is collecting a specimen of the blood that spilled on the floor while Reinhold is doing this, and she's also preparing to draw blood from Waits.
Okay, you go ahead and you can do both. Scoop it up. You've always got a little container on you, I imagine, Talon, for just this sort of thing. And you,
Yeah.
you
So
scoop
while
those
Reinhold's doing his thing, Talon's got this stuff, and then she's heading for the equipment to start analyzing this.
I
Sure.
imagine Waits like howls in pain as the blood is taken from her body.
Yeah, it feels like as it's drawn out, like it's burning.
She basically heals 3d6. But that's
For the
per the
purpose-
rules of this ability.
I will say,
not
for the sake of this, that Waits, the burning begins to subside. Your throat still feels sore and your stomach is sore. And you even cough up some blood. But the actual active burning is gone. But Jana checks you over, and over the next few minutes, she lets you know that you've suffered some not massively serious, but still strange burns on the inside of your esophagus and stomach.
And I think she kind of drops from screaming to whimpering to just quiet breathing in and out as like gently as she can, because her esophagus burns every time like air passes through her throat, and she's just kind of generally very uncomfortable. And the only word she really can get out is just how.
Judy, you feel a strange tingle in the back of your neck. You hear your own voice in the back of your head. Well, so close. I nearly had her. I nearly had her. They nearly had her. Maybe. Shame about that mixture. Unfortunate that the very thing that would clean that up would cause so much trouble. And it's odd because, again, they feel like your thoughts, but it's almost like somebody else's thoughts at the same time, and you don't know where it's come from. But it reminds you of your experience earlier, and it feels mocking. If they were your thoughts, it's like you were mocking the situation, but you can't have thought that, not about a fellow judge, somebody that you've come to call a friend.
I think Judy is kind of like sat on another cot because she's covered, she's burnt to shit too, and she's hearing this stuff and thinking it, and she just sort of mutters, "It was the water. The water did it."
It's corruption. This is a situation There's a corruption in Freedom Falls that cannot be stopped with a bullet, or with a missile, or with a flamethrower. She's a phantom. Do you understand me? She walks between the raindrops. And when we all die, don't let it be said that I didn't tell you she would eat us. This is what they do. They eat your mind. Just like that young man back there. He's gone. And one by one, it'll be us next.
Judy, you take these words to heart as you start to question your own voice that you've been hearing in the back of your mind ever since the events this afternoon. Did whoever got to that young man really get to you, or is this just Reinhold being paranoid, scarred from the previous experience, or are you leading down the same path? As these thoughts seem to come from nowhere in the back of your mind. As you shot at a man that wasn't there, apparently didn't shoot him at all. As Waits in front of you, it seems the water within her body did something to the blood that she consumed. Grease, you are back in Freedom Falls. Back to the place that you were known so well as Marlon Brando. Back facing a dangerous foe, so much so that you agreed with Reinhold. Waits, the pain is beginning to subside, and you can't fathom for a second how this came to happen. Who would target a medical center, or why the man in the bed behind the curtain was laughing, seeming to know what was going on despite being able to see. Talon, you're looking around at the medical center, a place that you helped bring back as a bastion of hope, as it's in disarray, ruin. It'll be a while before anyone can be properly treated here, until everything is cleaned up. And Reinhold, you are back here, the place you didn't want to be. The place with the woman who can't be beaten, apparently. Shay, the one who reaches out into people's minds, and as far as you know, tears them to shreds. And I think I think we've hit our ending for Back to the Block tonight.
And we are back on the block. Thank you so much, Virginia. Thank you so much, chat. Let's go around and quickly say our hellos and goodbyes. Let us know what your favorite part of today was and where we can find you on the internet. And let's begin with the wonderful Zippy Zippo.
Hi, my name is Zippy Zippo. I play Grease. And if you enjoyed my wacky sense of humor, you can find me here on Twitch, the Zippy Zippo. Thanks.
And what was your
That's all I
favorite part of tonight?
I mean, do I have to choose a favorite part?
A part you liked?
I like everything, and parts are the sum of the whole. So if I like every part, I like everything. Boom. That's basically just normally saying I liked everything, but I'm
writing you a Twitch director ticket right now in my brain. Let's move around and down to the wonderful producer Trav, who is currently frozen and I hope unfreezes in time to tell us his favorite parts and where to find him on the internet. Judy, you're tapped in. Susanna Grace.
Oh boy, I loved stepping back once more into the fashionable combat boots of one Judge Judy and causing chaos wherever I go again. Last time I started a gang war, this time I've been possessed by a spooky psychic lady, so you know, it's only going to go up from there. I think one of my favorite parts was Judge Reinhold in talking to Waits, but also answering the Jeopardy questions at the same time. That's Trav, hot damn. And also the Waits rescue and how quickly that turned extremely gay. But I am Susanna Grace, otherwise known as Susie. I'm a variety streamer who does art, video games, and tabletop RPGs. You can find me all over the internet at Susanna Grace, so do that.
And do that. Let's cut across now very quickly to Producer Trav. What is Producer Trav?
Man, I am on the set of WebDM where the internet sucks ass. Very glad to be here and play with these awesome people. This is my first time playing with the lovely and talented Susanna Grace, so I can check that off my streaming bucket list. My favorite part was being tased and dragged out of the asylum. The dark portent of the future. I'm right in the I'm very glad to be here. It looks like the internet is cutting out. I'm gonna go, and I'll see you next week. And do his guest starring. It's gonna be great. Bye.
Trav, please put that in Encounter Roleplay Twitch chat so everyone knows what you just plugged. And let's cut across to Cleric of Cord, who played Judge Talon today.
Hi, I'm Kat. I'm a Cleric of Cord, and I play games on the internet with my friends. And this was the best welcome to the start of the new year that I could have asked for. It was great. It's always great to play with Susie and to be back with Travis, and Charlie, and V, and Zippy. I've missed you all, and I've loved this. And I think my favorite part was Waits getting hammered on Judy getting hammered on Bang Bang, Judge Judy specials, after picking up a very sizzling hot piece of cast iron.
Awesome. Sorry, got distracted by behind the scenes chat. I want to say that my favorite part of today, or one of my favorite parts that hasn't been mentioned, is Zippy with Judge Grease's front door set up. So funny. And I loved the conversation between Tal and Grease about the movies. It's super fun to be back. It's super fun to be back here on Encounter Roleplay. And we continue the action on Monday when we have our Session 0 of The Crown Lands, my brand new Song of Ice and Fire campaign, where you will also find Susanna Grace, along with RPG Webby Nuno, Amelia Tyler, and Flying Sarah Shauna. Did I forget anyone, Susie? Was that everyone? I think that was everyone.
And you.
So come and check that out. Yeah, I will also be there. And that will be at 2 p.m. Eastern. And if that's not enough Session 0 action for you, on Wednesday, join us at 2 p.m. Eastern, where Susanna Grace will be leading the Zweihander cast into some world building and character creation. And it's a new cast. It's very exciting. I cannot wait. And after that, on Friday, we will be back here, 5 p.m. Eastern, 10 p.m. UK. Extrapolate your time zone from there for some more Judge Dredd on the block. Virginia, you have been our games master.
Oh, it's been so good to be back, and I'm so happy to be returning back to Freedom Falls. It was cool to hear, like, favorite parts. I think I've got, like, one from everyone. Like, Zippy coming up with that awesome setup for the house. That wasn't planned. I let a lot of them improv all of this in between stuff. That was really, really cool. I love seeing the crazy stuff that Grease gets up to because it's perfect. Reinhold with the Jeopardy questions. And also just the way Travis is talking about, like, she walks between the raindrops, that it's just perfect. Judy being a badass about picking up the metal and then going and saving Waits. Charlie, you've got kind of a new wife, I guess. You've got a second wife now.
I mean, I like this one much more than the last one. The last one did nothing but beat me around a room. So,
Talon just arguing with Grease about the movies, and just the moment where you were just like, I'm just going to shoot Reinhold and take him with me. And I was like, wow, Waits is seeing Waits develop into this slightly, like, still kind of straight-laced, but like occasionally bending the rules is really fun. But I've loved every minute of running this, and I can't wait to see how we all get on. And yeah, I threw you straight into the fire, literally. Thank you, chat, for all of those wonderful wild magic searches, because I had similar stuff kind of planned, but then those I was just like, oh, I can mix this in with that, and that gets even better. So thank you to you. But hi, I'm Virginia. I help make, play, and publish tabletop RPGs, and you can find me on Twitter at Tabletop Horde. You can also find me on Twitch at the same name, Tabletop Horde, and some Mondays and every Wednesday, 9 p.m. GMT, which is 4 p.m. EST, if I've got my time zone right. I'm going to be over on my Twitch channel streaming. I hope to have some TTRPG content up this year, but we're finishing up Fallout, I think this weekend. I'm doing a weekend stream, maybe tomorrow. And hopefully next week, starting with some classic Tomb Raider games to play through. So you should come and chill in chat. We have random crazy conversations, and it's a whole load of fun. Please come along. It's great. And you can also find me in other places like here every Friday. Keep an eye out for season 3 of After the Fire, because I'll be in that when that's back. And also check out Red Moon Roleplaying's Descent into Avernus, where I play a Tiefling Arcane Trickster Rogue in that for all of those shenanigans. But yeah, that's me.
Awesome. This has been Encounter Roleplay. This has been Judge Dredd in the worlds of 2000 AD. Back on the block. The link is down below if you're on YouTube. The link is in the chat box if you are on Twitch. Hi, YouTube. Goodbye, Twitch. We will see you